Hello there, and welcome to Talking in Stations. This is Whoisafish, your host, and today we're just going to be doing some generic gameplay as Eve Echoes has finally launched. It's been a much anticipated launch by the mobile gaming community, and so far the launch has been nothing short of spectacular, I would say. We've had a massive surge of players come in. There's been a lot of new questions on how to play the game. So again, today we're just going to be kind of playing some general gameplay, and for anybody who has any questions, I'll try to answer things just as much as I can. I too am a new player, but I started playing Eve Echoes in the alpha, and then I played both betas. So from alpha to both betas, I've definitely noticed a massive increase in knowledge, and I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable with the game mechanics. So if it seems a little overwhelming when you first start out in Eve Echoes, have no fear. If I can play, so can you. It's a really, really fun game. Really excited to share and see how many more players get involved with it. So without further ado, here we go. So we're just activating our clone here. You can get 3 clones when you play, which is pretty sweet. But if you want to be able to skill them all at the same time, you are going to have to get your Omega account squared away. So before I continue, let's see if anybody... How is the mic sounding? Is everything sounding good? I guess I'll kind of just check in here periodically and you guys can tell me how it sounds. So the first question a lot of new Eve Echoes players have is, which race should you choose? Now, race is not necessarily going to affect your gameplay. Like other games such as WoW, World of Warcraft, you can choose Alliance or Horde, and that determines what teams you can join. It's not the same in Eve, so don't fear. If you choose Ammar, you can still play with Caldari. Choosing Minmatar, still play with Galente, although nobody wants to choose Ammar because they're religious nuts. So, pretty much you can kind of just basically choose based on lore. You've got a few kind of different stories here, but I won't really dive too much into lore. We do have a stream that where we spoke with one of our lore experts named Ashtarothi, and he kind of explains that really when you think about this is a role-play game. This is a sandbox game. So think about what your character, how you want your character to proceed going forward. Now, my main character is Minmatar, and I do have another character as Galente. So let's choose Caldari just for the sake of choosing a little bit of different characters. Nothing wrong with Alex Lambert saying nothing wrong with Ammar. I don't know, I beg to differ. The Ammar enslaved Minmatar, and Minmatar is my main tune, so I'm definitely a little bit biased on that front. Besides, Whoisafish, everybody knows Whoisafish. You gotta trust in the rust. They may not have the most beautiful ships. They kind of look like a little bit of rust buckets, but they are definitely a really Whoisafish. So let's see. The Caldari was founded on the tenets of patriotism and hard work. With these ideals as their guiding principles, its early leaders fought hard to achieve greatness. Today, the Caldari state has become a powerful corporate dictatorship, ruthless and efficient in the boardroom as well as on the battlefield. So your Caldari are going to be very business-like, business-oriented. They're going to be concerned about the bottom line. And you can actually see some of these other ships. They've got pretty sweet ships, I'm not going to lie. And then this is actually probably one of my favorites, which is the Caracal. Gotta love the Caracal. So I'm just going to choose this. Again, if you're stuck on which race to choose, just choose what lore you like, and you can also just choose what you think looks the best. It will affect where you get placed in the map, so you'll get placed closer to that section. Many people choose Caldari, so if you are choosing a race, just know that you're going to be put in a very heavily populated area if you do go with Caldari. And let's see. So you've got the different bloodlines. Again, this is not going to affect your gameplay. You can skill up in anything, fly any ship, use any module. This is more just for kind of look's sake, I guess. It used to affect what teams you can join and what you could do in EVE Online, but they took that out later down the road. I'm not exactly sure when, but it did actually have an effect prior. So let's see. I don't even know how to pronounce this. Severe are highly competitive by nature, making them remarkably successful in both economic and military matters. Severe males follow a strong moral code, never at ease while idle. They see their work as meaning of life. Female Severe strive for excellence in the pursuit of all endeavors. Their strict devotion to a moral code makes them highly self-disciplined. Okay, sweet. I'm just going to go with this one. And we'll just refresh until you see a good one. That looks a little too friendly for me. Let's see. They've got quite a few. That's a pretty sick leather outfit. There we go. I'll go with the yellow tube top.
Final identity confirmed.
Now I am, everybody knows me as Whoisafish. Let's see if our chat box is working. Because I don't want to be Spring 23. Well, that might be a problem. Spring 23, when ring? Oh, there we go. Okay. We're gonna do some sort of fish. Let's see. It used to be Epic Fish, Warfish. Copy and paste your name in. I think I fixed the chat. It was all, so if anyone is playing an emulator, there are some weird kind of bugs, I guess, that happen in emulators, and RevDeuce was kind enough to share that it's a lot about the emulator setup itself. So if you check the settings on your emulator, if it's, whether it's BlueStacks, Mumu is owned by NetEase, I believe. At least that's what I was told, and so I use Mumu, and I find that the graphics look really nice on this one. But yeah, they definitely, if you go into the keyboard settings and fix it in the emulator settings, that will help with the keyboard in general. So just know that if you are playing an emulator, you can just check out those keyboard settings. So let's see, I'm just gonna open and copy and paste like Chris said. And you know what, I think I'm gonna go with Sly Fish, because this one is gonna be a sly character.
Activating transneural brain scanner.
And there we have our tune. So it's just as easy as that. If you get stuck on which race you should choose, just know it's really not going to affect gameplay too much. It's mostly preference, lore-based. So, and here is the story. Most people kind of want to know how to skip this story, which I believe if you hold up around this area, you can just kind of skip. But if you're completely new, definitely maybe read it or review it. Skip.
How are you feeling, pilot?
Beautiful. So now this is our little Creodon for the tutorials. So a lot of new players are saying, what do I do? How do I make ISK? Where do I go? The first thing that a lot of players are going to tell you is to play the tutorials, and it's not because they're trying to be annoying, it's because the tutorials are going to help you. Like, they really are not only going to give you free skill points, but they are going to help you learn the basics, and it is going to make it a lot easier when you want to join a corp. If you're trying to join a corp, trying to become as valuable of a player as you possibly can is definitely going to help you. We are going to name my Creodron, because you can rename it if it'll allow me.
Why are humans?
Taste long-limb rose for me if you have a chance.
Let's
Statistics
see.
show they are delicious.
Okay, so that is one fallback of the emulator, would be definitely the keyboard is kind of annoying. So let's just, I won't start spam clicking it, and let's see if that fixes it. Copy. There we go, Grogsnack. So Grogsnack is one of a dedicated follower and fellow writer. He writes a lot of fan fiction series with me, which we're going to be releasing a few soon.
I've been cloned 9 times.
So he gets to be my little
My
Creodron.
body,
And
my
every time you
memories,
see the
my
little floating orb, no, that's where you
everything.
need to go for your tutorials.
Is it all even me?
So let's see
still?
if I can
It
skip
is
this
sure that you
again.
are detached somewhat from
Don't
your
worry,
soul.
the game is not normally this laggy. It's
Nevertheless,
just because of
this does
my
not affect
rapid
your
fire
physical
clicking.
existence.
Just hold and swipe with the cursor. Thanks, Raja. Okay, so you enter in. And I've actually never been Caldari before. But it's all the same. So any ship, it's not going to be very different in terms of locking or whatnot. So I lock. And then I use my weapon to shoot and attack. So just keep in mind that you need to do this when you're doing any kind of combat or anomalies, that you can press your modules there. A lot of people have been wondering why their capacitors are running out, or they call it a few different things. Some people will say my fuel is running out. Your capacitor you can increase skill to increase your capacitor, but you also don't want to just leave your modules on forever. You're gonna need to make sure that there's different types of modules. So this is a lot more in depth. This is not just gonna be a game that you can point and click and then expect things to work. You're gonna need to consider how you use modules, how you fit the ship, what you've skilled up in, and that's going to greatly affect how your ability to fight and your ability to overcome certain anomalies. So it's pretty much just a generic kind of standpoint of if you have a ship that specializes in missiles, and I'll kind of go through the ships and show you that shortly. But if you have a ship that has a missile buff, you're going to want to make sure you equip that with missiles, and then make sure you skill up in missiles, so it's a little bit more in depth. And you can see how I'm leaving those modules on. If you press them again, that's going to turn them off. So those are really pretty basic commands that you're going to need to know, is just being able to turn on and off your modules. When you turn it off, your capacitor is going to increase.
Warning.
And there are going to be some modules you want to leave on versus others that you might want to turn off.
This rescue attempt and warp away for now.
Okay, let's skip.
Stay the course. We're gonna finish what we started.
Or try to skip. There we go. Yeah, so if you guys are looking to just make another alt account and you don't want to have to watch the whole storyline, you can just up at that top, hold and press, and that is going to help skip it, which normally I love the storyline, don't get me wrong, but sometimes if you're just making an alt, it's nice to be able to skip past it. Okay. So this is your little Creodron guy, and again, as a new player, you really do want to play the tutorials. We are going to be playing the tutorials. I'm going to show you exactly why. It is going to help you kind of learn some of the basics of the game. So we're going to press yes, we want to do that. I mean, this is pretty easy, although, I don't know how I'm going to do the zoom in and zoom out. Okay, now I think I'm stuck. Because I'm on an emulator. Well, shoot. How do I exit this tutorial? Alright, guys, we figured out our first roadblock. Hold control. There we go. Okay, so we can control and roll in and out. Okay, beautiful. So if you guys don't know how to zoom in the emulator, that's actually something I just learned. Is that you can just press control and then roll your mouse, and that'll go in and out, which is great. If you guys are ever planning on doing any content, it's really great to be able to zoom in on your ship. Okay, so now they're talking about opening the overview. That's this guy right here. The overview is something that's really important for you to know. If you are ever flying in a fleet and a fleet commander says, open your overview, that's this little eye right here. And then you can filter down for the various things that you're going to need. And then we're going to need to dock. A lot of people have... What emulator are you using? Salty Suma. I am using Mumu. So that is a supported... Well, not really supported, but NetEase owns this emulator. So I find that it's got really great graphics. And it's out of all of them, I've noticed it's the best. I know people use BlueStacks. I used to be a massive Nox fan. But so far, I'm like pretty thrilled with how Mumu has been working so far. So I'll just put that in the chat for you guys. Mumu. Alright, so it's wanting me to dock. So we're going to dock right now. So if you're ever under attack, I have a little phrase, or if you're ever fighting a pirate and you think you're going to lose, you don't need to lose your ship. If you see in that overview, you see the square, go there. So you can look for your stations or your gates, and you can press jump, and you can actually warp out of a anomaly, and that way you won't lose your ship. So just know that. And then if someone's attacking you and you know you're going to lose, you can also run away. There's no shame in trying to protect your assets. So the main button you're going to be looking at over here is your avatar, your character. That's where you're going to press, and you're going to open a bunch of different things. It's got a big window. It has a lot of different areas. If you are planning to pay as a paid player, you want to visit that store and buy your Omega. We're just going to kind of enter in as alpha for this training purposes and this general gameplay purposes, but I will go over how to use the store, how to apply those skill chips, just because it is kind of a few layers on how to actually apply them, which kind of seems like counterintuitive to make it hard to use your purchase, but hey, that's their prerogative. So we're gonna open our skills, and that's gonna be right here. There's 2 views of skill, so you're gonna wanna level up, obviously. But there's this view. Skip. There's going to be this generic view, which you can kind of see a variety of careers. I personally think that these are a good overview and they kind of give you a little help, but it's more important to think about what types of ship you want, what your role in the game is going to be. 1 second, now I've got things open on my phone. What your role is going to be in your team. And this is mainly the combat side of skills, and then these are the mainly industrial side of skills. So you're gonna, everybody, I highly recommend skilling up in planetology, because planetology is it's a passive role. You don't really have to do anything in order to gain these types of things. Oh man, okay, so maybe I lied. We are not gonna play Omega on this. I'm gonna buy, or the Alpha on this, I'm gonna buy Omega because I have to in order to skill up for training purposes. Okay. And buy. Alright, we will change our scene while I enter in my password. Give me 1 second. So I guess we're going straight to Omega on this account. Was not expecting to, but hey. Do what you gotta do, right? And to be honest, I mean, if you do have $5 and you are planning to like really get to know the game, it's not too big of an investment. It is a really fun game, so I would consider it worth it. But if it's one of those things where it's new and you're not sure how you feel, then, you know, sticking with Alpha for a little bit. If you have one clone, you can basically skill up that clone. You would just have to basically create a different account. So far there's not necessarily any rules against multi-boxing, but if you are one of those players who multi-boxes like 50 accounts, then I don't know, that's a little weird. Yeah, Alex Irwin, $5 for endless hours, days, years of content isn't too bad, 100%. And these developers are probably some of the first developers who have really shown how much dedication they have back to the community. As someone who's played various mobile space games like Nova Empire, Stellaris Galaxy Command, Second Galaxy, I can tell you that these devs are very responsive. Doesn't mean they always listen to the feedback that the community gives, but they do listen, and there are times where they have basically shown that they will, you know, take our opinions into account. If you do buy Plex also on the market as an alpha account and it shows you that it's a few jumps away, you do not have to jump anywhere for your Plex. So just keep that in mind. If it says 20 jumps away, you can pick it up wherever it is because of the type of currency it is. So you are all good to go on that front. Okay. So now that I bought my Omega account, I'm going to go to my character. And it looks like I've automatically upgraded. And then you're going to want to check your supplies. So these are the dailies. Mind you, I'm not thrilled about the dailies because I do think this is one of those types of games where we don't want to... I'm a really big fan of strategy-based games. I don't necessarily love having a bunch of free stuff, but for noobs, I think a lot of the free stuff can be kind of cool. But really being able to earn what you get, it gives you a lot greater sense of satisfaction. Even when we do these tutorials, you're going to see that in the advanced tutorial, you are able to get a few ships in the advanced tutorial, like a venture trainer. What I've noticed is a lot of new players are ending up, they end up staying, raise to tech level 2. Okay, I thought I did raise to tech level 2. I did. Okay, so that might be a little bit buggy. Probably have to refresh the game, but I remember when I did it on my clone, the same thing happened. So you're going to want to claim your rewards here. So you go into your mail, and then you'll see the little pinkish, reddish thing. You can claim those right here. Perfect. So you've already claimed, all good to go on that front. A lot of times people wonder, like, when they claim items in their inventory, they'll fly somewhere else. Your items are not just going to fly all with you. You have to keep in mind that your ship has a specific cargo. If you want to check out what your cargo is, you can check that out right here. So you can click your ship in your ship hangar, and you're going to see your storage space. And also, a lot of people have been asking about estimated price here. I wouldn't really put all your eggs in one basket in terms of this estimated price. If you see that, just remember the market is an ever-evolving beast. What it is yesterday is going to be different than today and tomorrow. That is its own game in itself. You've got a lot of different characters you can play, so it's really a little bit of exploration and what's your style. So when I played the first alpha, I played as a miner. Actually, I have a huge affection for mining. It's actually a lot of fun. And I built my own venture from scratch. And then, well, that's a lie. I had a ship and I was wondering why I couldn't mine, and I was shooting these asteroids, and I realized that I had to fit that ship with the proper modules. So if you're a miner, you're gonna have to literally fit your ships with the correct modules. And remember that different skills do different things. So just going through here, you have your cruising technology, your frigate command, your destroyers, your cruisers, all that good stuff. Just make sure that you're skilling these up, because if you don't skill up your command and destroyers, you're gonna have a bad time if you're trying to fly a destroyer. So for the sake of talking about planetology, we were going to be skilling this up. So I'm skilling up planetology because it is a passive play style, and everybody can do it. It's really easy. I don't have to get a venture to go mine. I know what people say you have to place a mining array, but what you do is you click your avatar, go to Planetary Production, and for anybody who might have missed that, I'll just go back and do that again a little slower. You go down here, over here to Planetary Production, and then depending on where you are, these planets are going to change. So you have a few different planets, and you can click through to see the different materials. You can see we've got oxygen isotopes, motley compound, opulent compound, all this great stuff. Okay, interesting. I have no idea what this is. Well, I personally do, but let's say you don't know what any of these things are. Ooh, perfect. Smart fab units. We're gonna start mining those guys. We're gonna mine, I'm gonna confirm. And you're not done yet. You need to basically increase your mining arrays, press confirm, and then press that little plus. That's gonna give you 24 hours of continuous mining that you don't have to do anything for. The more that you skill up in your skills, you're gonna be getting additional planets that you can mine, additional little characters per that planet. So this is definitely a great skill to have, and if you have, or if you want to create an alt just to do planetology, it's definitely something I would highly recommend, because those are going to be pretty rare resources overall. Let's see. Okay, so now we're skilling up in our planetology, and now we're going to take a look at our inventory or our ship so that I can kind of show you guys a little bit about the fitting. So we went into fitting. And for anybody who doesn't know, this is going to give you recommended fittings right here. So we have recommended fittings. It shows us that we can potentially put a small rifled railgun or small afterburners, small shield boosters. And let's just take a look. Right now, these types of ships, when you start off, come with civilian modules. They're crap. Okay, so you're going to have to make sure you get different modules. You're given starter modules, so you need to be able to get better modules that you can fit your ship with, so that your ship can gradually do more damage, it becomes stronger, and that when you do anomalies, they'll become easier and easier as you go. So let's see. Now just kind of checking in, does anybody have any questions? Maverick, if you are looking for a corp, Obsidian is always taking new players. Not sure if anyone from Obsidian wants to throw in a link there, but we do have a very specific playstyle. Our corp is going to be highly PvP based. Now remember, each team is going to have a bunch of different things that they've got going on for them. So try to join a corp that's going to fit your playstyle. If you are a highly industry related player, try to find other corps that are going to be suited to your style so that you don't get frustrated. And just because you join one team, it doesn't mean that you're going to love them. Just do a little bit of digging, a little bit of research. If you are new and you're just trying to join a team without any sort of reach out on Discord or investigation on which teams you're trying to join, it's highly likely you'll probably be denied because Corps right now are limited at this phase. So yeah, if you are trying to join, you can also set different filters to look. Let's see, if I wanted to look for industry, this is going to show me the different suitable corps. Again, I'm almost making a bet I can just literally apply, and it's highly unlikely I'm going to get selected to any of these corps. If we did, I would be absolutely shocked because, again, people are really looking for more active players, and most people spend time in Discord, so this game is not going to be the only tool you want to use. You're going to want to get Discord so that you can have an ease of communication with your teammates. Pay for win game. I wouldn't necessarily say it's pay to win. I would say that this is pay to play to unlock all the features. If you are an alpha player, you get basically an unlimited free trial, but once you pay, you unlock all the features of the game. Especially just because it's a subscription-based model. And even if we look at the store, here is your one-time purchase of these cognitive neuroscience skills. If you're debating whether you should get these, this is really for players who know that they want to stick in the game in the long haul. These are one-time purchases. Essentially, you would buy this purchase, click buy, and then you will have to go, where was it? Here, you'll have to exchange your AUR for these for this chip. So just a lot of people have been like, I bought this and I can't apply it. You buy this, and then you have to do the next step, which is to transfer that currency into the chip, and then you can claim your purchase. And then you'd have to check in your inventory. In your inventory or item hanger, you will then notice your chips get here. You can click that chip and press use. We got nice skin, so that's pretty cool. Alphas can't sell things, but they can sell in specific trade, like ITCs, I think. I've never played as an alpha player, to be honest, so that's... I've always just either gotten ISK in order to buy Plex to get the Omega, or I've just purchased it because it's $5. But I do understand some people say $5 is not that much, but across different countries, $5 can definitely have a different weight, especially if you're not sure if you want to play. My biggest suggestion would be really get through the tutorial first and see how you feel. Find a team before maybe you make that investment. Some teams even sponsor paid accounts. We're currently considering doing something like this, but we will see. Also, just want to let you guys know, if you kind of stick around, I will be featuring a sneak peek of some special content that is for the community for both EVE Online and EVE Echoes. It includes me singing, so it's a nice parody song. So if you are interested in checking that out, stay tuned. That will be coming shortly. All right, so let's check if that tutorial thing updated. And remember, anytime you gotta get back to tutorial, look for a little glowing orb.
How are you feeling, pilot?
I am feeling wonderful. So let's see. Yes, upgraded tech level. See, I don't know why this is not working. Maybe I'll abandon and I'll try it again. So if something's not working, just try to abandon it and maybe see if that works again. Okay, and skills. Mission complete. Okay, and...
How are you feeling, pilot?
Let's see. Train a skill. Okay, cool. So open the skill page and train a skill. So then that's kind of what I've already showed. You can choose anything in here, and again, remember, I would highly recommend doing planetary skills because anyone can do that. You can literally just start the game and start gathering your planetary materials, and that's going to be valuable for any corp. I guess before maybe I skill up, well, let's throw in targeting. This is going to be important, whether or not you are a PvP player or a PvE player, or whether you're going to be a support like Logi. You're going to want to make sure you have as many targets as possible so that you can lock on to more character or more of your enemy. or if you're a Logi, you would be targeting your own Corp to help heal them. I just want a really fast thing that I can skill. Let's skill missiles. So I would recommend missiles for any new players. They kind of give you like a lot of... Missiles are a little bit nerfed right now, but... This tutorial is a bit bugged. Okay, and...
How are you feeling?
Let's try that again. Accept, open skills page. And there we go, mission complete. Okay, so when I showed you guys the planetology, what we were looking at is that I started gathering, what is it, smart fab units? Smart fab units. Okay, two things. If you accidentally clicked the wrong planet and you're like, shoot, I don't know what to do, how do I get rid of it? It's saying, call it like if I try to press place a development array, mining planet's maxed out, what do? I want to go for a different planet. You will just click these mining settings right here, and you press demolish mining array. So that's how you'll get rid of it and choose a different planet. And then just know that if you need to go collect it, you can press launch, and then that will set your destination. So you can press autopilot, confirm, and this is gonna allow my little character, I would not launch it at 5. 5 is like not that much. But this is just to kind of show you guys how to place a mining array, how to delete one, and then also how to collect them. In high sec, people can't steal your goodies, but in null sec they can. So beware. There's gonna be more valuable items in null sec, but they can be stolen. And so the higher amount of items that you've basically mined, it'll then take longer for that to get launched in space. So I think on one of my tunes I had about 12,000 of some like suspended plasma, and it took about 5 minutes to get launched fully into space. So I kind of had to plan a few jumps out. I pressed launch so that when I got there, most of it was out. And then just keep in mind that you also have to consider how much cargo you have. So if you just routinely go over and over and over and try to press 24 hours over and over, you're not just going to be able to collect 100,000 unless you have the ship that has the cargo to then hold that capacity. And they're talking about getting potted undocked. So in high sec, I guess a lot of people don't necessarily know the difference between high sec, low sec, and null sec. High sec is going to be high security space, and just think the higher the number, the higher the security, the lower the number, the lower the security. Null sec means there is no security. So just keep that in mind. Select and train a skill. I thought we did this. Alright, I might have to send a message. It looks like their tutorial is slightly buggy, but that's okay. Maybe it'll just let this go. And I'm gonna try to find one that is a bit smaller or like faster. Corporation management you won't be able to do until you are... no, I want something a lot faster. Sure. Okay, so if we look here in your skill queue, you can drag. So if you have skills that take shorter amount of time, it doesn't stop this one, but if I removed this, it will remove my progress from that planetology skill. So you'll want to be careful about removing them. But your skill will become your skill queue will become full at a certain point, but you'll see whichever ones I drag to the top get skilled first. So try to skill up the lower or the faster ones, like forget manufacturer's only a minute, and then I've got the 32 minutes, so putting this one near the top is a lot better. You also are given those free skill points. This is another reason it's valuable to do that tutorial, because you do get free skill points. So we're gonna wait and see if maybe once it trains the skill fully, if that ends up making a big difference. Corporation offer. Huh. Well, look at that. I ended up getting a a corp. Sweet. Now let's see if I ended up getting the... Oh no, did I not get my 500,000 skill points? So if you join a corp, you're supposed to get about 500,000 skill points. Let's see if I just got an increase. Oof, I don't know. I think maybe it was after level 2. Okay, I'll have to check on this. But you do get, or maybe
How
it's
are you
further
feeling?
down in here. Oh no. Oh well. Okay. So now we're gonna go look at why I'm getting those materials for planetology. If we look at the market, think that all of these items all build things. So you're gonna have to, depending on whether you're industry or PvP, it's still important to know how to build things or what those things go towards, so that you can understand the value of these materials. Because if I'm collecting these smart fab units, I can either sell them on the market to other players, I can use them to build things, I can give contracts to other players in exchange for goods, and that makes it so that I want to understand what is valuable, what's important. So if I look at these planetary resources, this is what we are getting from our PI. These are going to give you suggested prices. Don't take them for face value. Right now the market is volatile. It's going to be market volatile for another few months just because the game is so new. So if I click this, you'll see people are selling it for about 400. Prices in the market change daily. So if you are interested in becoming a marketeer, don't leave something up and then just expect that it's going to be making massive ISK. You do have to check on that. Being a marketeer is like a full-time job. It's like a full-time role. And we can see that these smart fab units are over here. Now let's look. 15. So I started collecting a resource that is not necessarily super valuable. It's there. That means there's just a lot of people mining it. They might be around there. It's not as rare. So it's going to be something that a lot of people are selling. So it's just something to keep in mind. I started collecting this. We can kind of take a look at the other ones that exist. See, nanites. And you can see that this gave a suggested amount of ISK, but that's not the way the market ended up turning. So always paying attention to that is important. Let's see, plasmoids, iconic solutions, just kind of getting a feel for a few of these guys. Oxygen isotopes. Let's see. Reactive gas, 8, even lower. Dark compound. See, these ones are starting to get a bit higher. Motley compound. Market data will update in a few seconds. 150. So if you guys are starting to look at PI, just kind of take a look at what these items are, how much they could potentially cost. And then in terms of what do you do with them? Say you want to become a builder. You can check out your blueprints, and there's a bunch of different blueprints. You've got your ship blueprints, your module blueprints, rig blueprints, structure blueprints, quite a few different options. If you're going to build a corp, structure blueprints are great because these are going to be buildings, but most likely new players are not necessarily going to be just diving straight into structures. They're probably going to be, what is this? Applying to my corp? How am I getting this message? Because I should be a normal member. That's interesting. And then you can, if you are a CEO, which maybe I'll show people this one day, you can set different roles and permissions for your players. Right now we can see that we're all normal members, and then we have our CEO. The CEO is going to be the one who sets permissions, and you can give people permission to do things like donate ISK. So let's see, if I click here and I want to go donate, let's just try to donate. Insufficient permission. So this is one thing that a lot of players were wondering, was it broken? And this is not broken. So you can allow your normal members to donate. There's 2 permissions that you're going to need to select. And I'm debating whether I should show you that on my account or not. I think if we have any CEOs in here that want to learn how to be able to donate ISK or allow their normal members to donate, because this is a pretty big mortgage, so you're going to want to give your players the right to donate. Really what you have to do is give them finance management. So there's 2 steps, not just give that arrow where they can put money in, but you also have to give them finance permission. So I guess if there's any CEOs in there that really want me to show them how to do that, speak now, forever hold your peace in the chat. But I will log out and log into my other corp and quickly just show that, because I do think it's pretty valuable. So, any CEOs enable their corp to make donations as regular players, let me know. But for now, I'll just kind of keep on going through a few of the basics, and these are just going to be basics that help you kind of understand a full picture of the game, just because there's so many details that go into everything that it's a little overwhelming. But once you start kind of understanding the bigger picture, it's a little bit easier to figure out where you fit as a role into this, what kind of cog you're going to be in the wheel that turns. So back to market, we wanted to look at ships. So let's say I want to build a ship, and I want to understand what material I'm going to need to build that ship. I'm going to look at blueprints. I'm going to click ship blueprints. This filter right here is going to show you what's actually for sale. And then you'll have to go back here, and you'll see here is what is for sale. You'll see it's actually quite a bit, but when you travel outwards away from main hubs, this is going to be a lot. Why did it go back to all items? Okay. I, for some reason, cannot click regional cells. Okay, but just so you guys know, this regional cell order, let's see if maybe I just need to stop rapid fire clicking. Okay, now let's check. Aha, see? So we have blueprints, but it's not going to be that massive list. This is also good to know what's being built versus what's not being built. So these ones are available. That means I could buy them. You can click and see how much they are for sale. If you see this quantity, don't fear that someone's already just pumping out tons. Like, this is not an existing industry. These are blueprints that are seeded onto the market. So you can buy that blueprint. How you can see the materials is you're going to hold when you click. So this is a crucifier, and it shows me right here what I need in order to build that ship. So if you're just interested in any type of industry style, you're going to want to know what you need to build, and that's kind of why they call it spaceships and spreadsheets. Is a lot of type of industry players would then get their spreadsheet out, build a bill of material, a bomb, and they would then look at these materials that they need to gather and start gathering those so that they can start mass producing these ships. So the passive materials that you're going to need to build those ships are that planetary interaction, and you can see there's quite a bit in here. So base metals, and some people might just like buy the materials to make their ships, but you're going to have a good amount of ISK to start off doing that. But you can see lustering alloy, sheen compound. Now let's see in different ones. Venture blueprint. Now, of course, we do get venture trainer, but I'll show you the difference of what it means to be a venture trainer versus a venture 2, and why that's going to be significant to you as an industry player, and what makes how that makes a difference. Okay, you see, so it's a lot less. So venture is going to be a pretty great ship to make. It's not too many materials to gather. Lustering alloy, condensed alloy, motley compound. And let's just take a look to see. Maverick, yes, our Corp is going to help teach PvP. You will have to go on mandatory fleet ops with me. So I'm the CEO of Obsidian, and we do mandatory fleet ops to teach players who are interested in PvP. We're going to do group PvE missions together, and if you don't pass my training, you're definitely not going to be able to go on the training with Nom. Nom is one of our main fleet FCs. He's great, but he's definitely can be a little rough around the edges, a little hardcore. And the reason for that is because if you are not paying attention or listening to your fleet commander, you can put your other teammates at risk. And, you know, everyone spends a lot of time gathering all these resources and materials. So if you're not necessarily paying attention, again, you put your team at risk. So our Corp does teach players how to PvP, but we do kind of have to bring that in waves. And we are going to be looking to do PvE missions first, because if you're struggling to fly in a fleet to kill pirates, you're probably going to struggle to kill other players. So now that I clicked all, I'm going to go back. Let's try that one more time. There we go. And let's try that one more time. Okay. Okay, there we go. So there are definitely a few little bugs, but I mean, comparison when you look at the graphics and how many people are playing this game, I think it's absolutely incredible. Those kind of little things don't necessarily bother me too much, because when I've compared to other mobile games I've played, where it seemed like core gameplay was completely ignored, whereas those little updates would be, you know, just like a little thing like that to me is not going to be something that is the end all be all for me. Okay, let's see. I'm looking for a Venture 2 blueprint. So you can also take a look up there and type in the text. But if I'm going to hold here, you're going to see these have now increased. It's pretty much the same materials that you're going to need, but it's more. So it's the same amount of it's the same type of material, but you're just going to need like double. And now we're going to take a look at why those ships are different. So what does that even mean to us? I'm going to look at not my frigates, my industrial ships. Remember, because I made this mistake in alpha. I literally took a ship and I didn't have any modules for mining lasers on it, and I just started shooting the asteroids, and I was like, I can't collect the asteroids, what's going on? You have to have a specific ship with a specific module and skilled up in that specific profession. So there's a deeper layer there. I would say really the big thing is you have to consider the ship you're gonna fly, and then make sure that you have it fit properly. Like that's a whole component of the game. You'll get faster at that, but I would not rush fitting your ship. Making sure you're fit with a proper ship is time well spent. So a lot of people are like, okay, but Fish, I'm collecting with a Venture Trainer, and it's just not giving me the yield I'm looking for. So a big thing to consider is, again, when I look at my ships, you can look at the buffs that it gives you or the specific details by holding and clicking. So you can see the roll bonuses, you can see the miner bonuses. This gives me a 5% mining yield. So with every level that I have. That's low AF. If I look at the Venture 2, I click and hold, that's a 25% mining yield increase. So again, going back to the concept of spaceships and spreadsheets, if you are a whiz at Excel or, if you don't know how to use Excel, I highly recommend learning a little bit about Excel. But you can plug these numbers in to just calculate how much more that means for you. But 25 is a lot more than 5 when you factor in how much time it's going to take you to mine and get the things you need or the materials you need. And then let's just see, actually, because I know you don't need to build a Venture Trainer, but let's just see if it shows us what resources you would need to build that guy. Let me just filter down. And there's no Ventures or Venture 2s for sale. So if you guys are looking to either sell a ship or use one, just know that you can't. It looks like where I am, they're not for sale. So that would be potentially a good investment to make. And then I've always been curious because I was wondering if this would block my Corp notifications. Let me go back. It was in settings. Where was it? Battle. Okay, I'm gonna see if that helps get rid of those corp notifications, because that's really annoying. We'll see. I don't think that will, but maybe it will. Okay, so back to the market. We're gonna look at those blueprints, the ship blueprints. And we don't have a venture trainer. Okay, so I can't see the venture trainer materials unless I filter that, but essentially it's not that much to build a venture and it gives you a higher yield, so it's definitely worth it for you to consider. Now let's see if my basic tutorial, training a skill. Okay, we're gonna abandon this again. So these are just kind of a few little bugs that we're encountering, because this should, we have completed that portion of the tutorial. Except, then I go back here, I go to skills, and it says mission completed. Okay, great.
How are you feeling, pilot?
And I'm still stuck here. That's weird. Are all ships unlocked? Yes, most ships are unlocked except for interdictors. So interdictors are supposed to come in. Interdictors are gonna be, once interdictors come out, it's gonna be a bloodbath. Those are great ships for PvP games. So just keep in mind, right now they're not out, but once they are, they're gonna be great ships to build. Now let's see. Let me try to just close this. I'm gonna try to refresh. And actually, for you guys, since you guys have been waiting so patiently, we're gonna be, while I refresh this and try to get this working again, we are gonna be playing a music video that we made, and this is an Eve themed music video, so bear with me. I am not a professional singer, but I did quit smoking just to sing this for you guys. So I hope you enjoy it, and here is a sneak peek of this exclusive content.
I just don't see how a world that makes such wonderful things could be bad. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think that my corp is complete? Wouldn't you think I'm a girl who has everything? Look at my ships, assets untold. How many wonders can one hang or hold? Looking around here you'd think, sure, she's got everything. I've got modules and rigs in plenty. We've got miners who give precious ore. You want data cores? We've got plenty. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to be where the battles are. I want to see someone get evicted. People get salty when they've been, what's that word again? Oh, beat. Living in high sick, you don't get too far. Courage is required for growing, expanding. Command while you fly, and that, what's that word again? Fleet. Out where they shoot, out where their spines, out where they sit all day and fly. Wandering Eve, so you believe in this virtual world. What would you give if you could live out innocent? Join us in Eve in this virtual world.
Okay, so I hope you guys like that. We are going to be looking to do more fun content like that to bring it to you guys. If you like this content, we're doing a few campaigns. In the description of the channel, you can check out a page that you can put in donations. We do have some upcoming projects, and we tried to outline for you guys where your donations go. So we've got our Donation Hall of Fame, where we showcase the equipment that your donations go towards, and we are running one towards Captain Benzie, who has been a guest on Talking in Stations. He lives in Zimbabwe and has a very low internet connection, so we are looking to help run a campaign for the next 30 days. All donations that go towards this page are going to, 50% are going to go towards helping him buy that pack and defeat the evil Amarians who have enslaved his internet. So thanks for checking out that content that you guys just got a sneak peek, and we've got a few more of those to come, so stay tuned. So back to gaming. I don't think I have figured out how to get this skill thing working, because I restarted it, but it says I haven't trained a skill yet. So that might be a little bit bugged. So does anybody know if you're doing the beginning tutorial, that's kind of a pain in the ass, but because we could clearly have skilled things, but not such a big deal. I know that this happened on my alt account, and then basically it got resolved somehow. I just kind of restarted it. So just know if it's not fixed right away, it will get fixed. Just don't panic. Keep calm. There will be bugs. But let's see if I can enter in. No, I can't enter into my advanced tutorial. Okay, that's a bummer. So thanks, guys. Glad that you guys liked the Little Mermaid. It's a virtual world instead of part of your world. We want as many people to play Eve as possible. And we know that it is a difficult game. There's a lot of, it's a high learning curve, but the stories that you can have once you overcome some of that learning curve is incredible. So just really excited to continue making some more of that content. Got a few more songs up our sleeves. So, and any suggestions or ideas that you guys have, you can always feel free to shoot me a message on Discord. Always love to collaborate with other like-minded artists and kind of get more content out there for Eve, because really content and the stories that the players bring to this game are what make it so incredible. So let's see, what else shall we do? So we've covered Planetary production and why you should just start that immediately. We have covered your inventory, what you can do with the inventory, move it to your ship, move it out of your ship. Oh, so let's say I want to move this guy into my ship, put it in my cargo hold. Remember, here is where my cargo hold is. And let's see, maybe I can start flying somewhere. So I click here to go on the map. And this is a zoomed in version. But then if I click here, it's going to start showing me a little bit further and further out. And this is the main map. So right now there's no SOV introduced in the game, but once SOV is introduced, you're going to start seeing teams take over different parts of territory. Red is nullsec. This orangish, yellowish is low, and the green is safe. That's high sec. So just if you're red, you can be dead if you get shot. Took me like Graph Tinker. Took me like 45 minutes to figure out you have to click that level up button. Oh no. Yeah, sometimes it's like, why isn't anything working? What's going on? I think another thing I would suggest to players is not assume things are always bugged out, but just do a few little tests, do some due diligence on your end to try to figure out ways around something if it looks like it's broken. So just, not settling on the first try that you give it. So let's see, if I want to go somewhere, where do I want to go? So Jita, if I wanted to look up Jita's going to be like one of your main market hubs. I don't necessarily suggest going to Jita. Motherfucker. Because Jita's really packed, but it is it's got a lot of history in terms of EVE Online. And it's kind of just a very, it's a loved place. So we're going to set as our destination and use our autopilot to go, confirm, and that's how we travel. So now we have left our little station prior. And don't fear if you forget your items and you're like, oh no, I forgot my items. You can always look back in your inventory and check your personal assets. It's going to put a list down here, and I didn't leave my items, but it's going to have a list of all the places that your items are all over the place. So I don't recommend leaving pieces here and pieces there, but then again, I'm a little OCD, so I don't like leaving my stuff all over the place. And when you do have a corp, they should basically be able to establish an office, and that'll give you guys access to corp hangars, so that however your team is structured, they'll be able to give you access to different pieces. Okay, so now my little my grog snack, my little Creodron, is telling me the different parts about the different areas, and you can see this was just me doing the tutorial. So again, this is why vets stress the tutorial, is because if you are a new player and you don't know what you're doing, these little hints are going to give you that piece of information so that you're not just wondering what's going on. You can see lower the number, the more dangerous. You won't need to worry about getting attacked in high sec. So high sec is safe, is secure. Think sec, safe, secure. In low sec, you can get attacked, but there is going to be the factions that will end up attacking a player who attacked you. And really, it's more so null sec that you are going to be able to, you will have the possibility of losing your ship. There's a few phrases EVE Online vets have created that kind of lovingly, affectionately use. A few of them would be, don't fly something you can't afford to lose. So if you don't have that much ISK to replace a ship, and you're not, and you're going out to nullsec, it's probably not the best idea if you don't have any kind of backup plan. Unless you have like a corp that is just going to give you unlimited free ships. You cannot, you can't just like necessarily buy ships or anything like that. You can, however, buy Plex and then sell Plex on the market. So if we just look here, you can buy Plex and then sell Plex on the market and then get in-game currency if you really want to go that method. And you can see people sell Plex for quite a bit. Now, I can tell you in terms of market price, this has drastically jumped. I think yesterday the prices for Plex were about 9,000. So when Corps first entered into Echoes, what they were doing is buying Plex in order to get at least 3 million ISK. So they would sell Plex for about 8,000, and when you multiply that for the amount of Omega, for an Omega, so about 500 times 8,000. Let me just fact check myself. 500 times 8,000. Yeah, something around there. So it was about, and basically they made about 3 million really quickly so that they can then create their corp, because you can create a corporation for 3 million ISK to start, and then you'll have to pay off that mortgage where you'll have 200 million that your team will then need to help pay off. I'm surprised I'm seeing these. How am I seeing these? The CEO must have not set any permissions, because I am allowed to empower people to come into the team. That's interesting. I don't know if I would let just anybody join my team, but I guess it just depends on what access you give them. That's not necessarily the worst idea. Now let's see if this tutorial thing got fixed. And now. What? Okay, open the skills page. I wonder, frigate defense upgrade. Let's see if I just use that, because I'm pretty sure I skilled that exact skill up. We'll have to send a note to the team. And then I guess the other thing, if you do encounter a bug, don't just freak out. There's a few things you can do. You can report bugs to Discord, the official Eve Echoes Discord, using their format that they have outlined. A lot of people just kind of they will throw in a bug, but they don't necessarily follow the format. So it is like that for a specific reason. That is unusual because I did skill up for defense upgrade to 3. So let's see, maybe if I just try a few of these ones. That I'm just not 100% sure on. I don't know why that's not working. And when you do get the young Jin ships, just know that the Decomposer is going to end up being the weaponry for that. See, and I can expedite all. I don't know if I want to expedite this one. So you're flying. So this right here is your local. That's where you can see how many players are in the system. And the reason that's important is because when you go into nullsec, you can basically look at this and see who is in the system with you, so you know how to stay on guard, stay on top of yourself, and make sure that you don't just get jumped and attacked. Let's see. So we had some suggestions in terms of players for the map. That's a work in progress. They need to add some more like map statistics. I think some of these changes are going to be coming, but in terms of like general gameplay, I definitely feel like they've focused a lot on some of the really most important gameplay features, I guess you could say. You can see all these little guys out here, all those little those are ships, and the different type of ship actually shows you what type of ship it is. So the small, wonder where that is. There is a place in here that shows you what type of ship it is, but I forget. You know what? Maybe it's my little Creodron. The Creodron is always a guide to help you. Controls tutorial. Battle tutorial. Star charts tutorial. So if you guys have any questions, this one does open up. So remember, your little orb is your little guide to help you give you more insight into the game if you have basic questions. A lot of players just kind of fully go out to ask other players, which is fine, but you know, if you can do a little self-help, you're probably going to find answers a lot faster. So what I am looking for is to show you the ship. There used to be this thing that you could just basically see what type of ships were which. I might have to look at that a little bit later and find out which one that is. So we're just jumping over to Jita. Again, Jita is going to be one of the main market hubs. Jita has been like completely blocked out. There's just been so many different players. I think this number of 75 is not accurate. I'm not 100% sure on that, on how many players are. That would be kind of interesting, is to know exactly how many players are in different regions right now. So you can click this to click in and out. So you can see these guys are that is like a frigate. The other ones are destroyers, and then you've got your battle cruisers. So the different symbol indicates a different ship. So that's another thing, is if you are in nullsec and then you see a ship that is much bigger than you, much more powerful, you can just tell even by being far away. Right now, there is a thing called tactical overlay. That is supposed to be coming in the game. So they are bringing that to the game. When we spoke with the developers, what they mentioned is that they had some bugs in that, in getting that situated. So just know that that is going to be coming, and tactical overlay is great if you are doing any sort of PvE or PvP, just any kind of combat. Well, I even use it when I'm mining, just because if I'm mining an asteroid belt and I am using tactical overlay, I can see how far close someone is to me, and it really helps me basically either know I need to run away or know what I need to do. And then 2, if you are mining, a great suggestion, if you're in nullsec and someone warps into a system next to the asteroid belt that you're at, you can preset your destination and then just like pause it. So basically when someone comes in, you just press play and boom, you're able to warp off, unless they scramble you, but you just you're giving yourself, you're preparing just in case, and that way you're mitigating any risk so that you don't lose your ships as easier. D-scan, yes, we need to be able to scan. How do you destroy a Borg cube? A Borg cube, I don't know what that is. I don't know if you just mean a cube like loot, because you can lock loot and shoot that. What about multiple character training? So you can train multiple. Are you talking about skilling up your clones like on one account? Because right now I have 3 clones on this account, and I do. Oh, I see, Star Trek reference. See, I never got into Star Trek as much. I do like it, but I just never got into it as much. I was always a Lord of the Rings gal. I would love to see them do some sort of like Eve movie on an epic battle that we have in Eve. That would be pretty awesome. Okay, so you can see I am now in Jita. I can dock and check out the market. Now, sometimes Jita gets really spammed with tons of players, and you just kind of have to try things a few times. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of like just spamming the button over and over, but if it says, you know, this area is congested, use a different location, you can pretty much press over and over and over and over, and eventually your ship will get in queue. It just takes a while. Borg. Yeah, I do know what the Borg is. I do know a little bit, but my knowledge on Star Trek is super limited. They're like Sanja and Eve. Ah, gotcha. I know my brother was huge into Star Trek, Stargate Atlantis, all that good stuff. Scrams in the game. I know Loader MMOG. I think actually NetEase created a Lord of the Rings game. So they do already have a mobile game that is Lord of the Rings. Now I would like to see the same grit and like darkness that was in Lord of the Rings in a space movie that's kind of like Eve themed. I think it would be so cool. Let's see. Especially if it was like based on true stories in the history of Eve. If you guys haven't played Eve Online, but you want to learn about some of the histories or the stories, I would definitely check out Andrew Groen's audiobook on Amazon if you like listening to audiobooks. It's called The History of Eve, and it does give you some insight into all the wars and battles that happened in Eve Online. And it was one thing that really got me psyched for Eve Echoes, just because Eve Echoes is a brand new sandbox, so you can kind of create your new story. And I do think it's one of those cool things where, I mean, yeah, of course, it's fun to get into the actual gameplay, but there's this whole meta that it's so rich and deep, and there's real politics. You know, people often don't necessarily just play the game. They spend time in Discord, which I sometimes call Discord Empire. And, you know, there's a lot of politics that play into different roles. So it's just one of those things where, you know, learning a little bit about the history of Eve will give you a leg up in terms of understanding some of the background or some of the plays that were made, or even just seeing some of the mistakes that other players made previously and learning how you can avoid them for your Corp. So let's see. What shall we do next? So now we know that I just flew over all the way to Jita, but when I have to go back, this is 17 jumps away. So just keep in mind when you do have your planetary production that the planets don't move with you. These are going to be completely separate planets, and then I'm going to have to jump back and go back and get those resources. And again, I'm going to have to launch those. I know some people have asked if when you destroy a mining array, if you can collect your stuff. And you know what? Let's find out, because that would be interesting to know. So let's say I want to destroy this. If it'll launch my goodies, demolish. Oh, and look, I can increase, confirm. I guess you'd probably launch it and then demolish. But then I don't want to jump 17. Well, we'll check back on that later. I want to see if when there's a little bit more you can basically do that. Okay. Now let's check out the encounters. So encounters are a good place to get started, and that's going to be news. Why it's called news, I don't necessarily know. And I probably don't want to start off with all the really dangerous ones. What you can do is filter your missions. So depending on what type of player you want, you can filter down things. Let's say I don't want to do combat. Let's say I'm scared of attacking anyone or scared of attacking, any kind of other ships or whatnot. Right now it's overwhelming. You can do transport and investigation just to get familiar with travel. So let's say, and then I don't have any materials for mining. But actually, just coming back to this, just so you can kind of understand, you don't have to mine in order to do these. Let's say Scordite. Let's just understand what this contract is. It says that I need 100 units of Scordite to complete that mission. Now, what you could do if you have the ISK and you want to complete that mission, so you get 3,500 ISK, and then we look at the market for Scordite. You can buy that material, put it in your ship, and then fly it and complete that encounter. You don't have to mine it. That's something I think a lot of people were confused on. Let's see, raw ore, Scordite. Okay, so I need 100 of these, and let's see what my margin would be here. And I mean, 13 jumps is way too far for me to do that mission, but I need 100 times 26.28. But then also just keep in mind that I do get taxed because I have not upgraded my skills in any accounting or whatnot. So that you can reduce the amount of taxes, reduce certain things like that when you skill up in certain areas. 26. Okay, so that's going to cost me 2,628 ISK. So I'd only be making 872 ISK. So that's really not that great of a deal for me unless I go 3 jumps away, which is 2 ISK. So then let's say I'm just going to purchase this. I'm going to purchase 100. And then I'm going to claim by myself because you don't want to have to, you can have it delivered or have someone haul it towards you, but I'm just going to pick it up myself. So purchase. Then I'm going to confirm. Now I'm going to go get it because it's only 3 jumps away and that's not too long. So then 2 times 100, that was 200. Now 3,500 minus 200, that's 3,300. That's a pretty good margin. So let's go back to those encounters. I wish it was a little closer. But let's just maybe refresh. You can refresh your encounters every 30 minutes. And unfortunately, I did not get my Scordite mission back. So now I'm about to pick up some Scordite, and I don't have a mission to complete with it, which is fine. You can also see Pyroxers, Pyroxer, I don't know how to pronounce that. Let's see. It's another 100 units. So all these lower level missions are typically about 100. But what I would want to factor in is I don't know if that's going to be held in my cargo. So it might very well be that this is going to be too big for my cargo. So let's see, Pyroxers, because that's a pretty good one. How much would that be? Because that's 45,000. But I don't even know. I don't think I'll have enough ISK to buy that. And then I know there was also a Veldspar one. Veldspar, 13 jumps away. And that is just too far for me to make the trip. It's just not worth my hassle. You can see definitely that people have brought it over here. Oh, I guess Veldspar is 2 ISK. So let's add in a few encounters while we're traveling around. All right, accept. And this is just for new players. If you're like, how do I make ISK? What do I do? How can I make something? Especially if you're an alpha player, you can do these missions, and this is how you can make ISK. And if you see these little faction symbols, that's a storyline. So you'll get gear if you complete these storylines. So that is valuable. And you can actually see when you complete these different storylines. So I can see I'm going to have to complete these specific missions. And then I get this crate when I complete all of those. And those are going to give you really good items. We're probably going to see some of these get sold on the market, but these are definitely really, really good items. This crate's going to give you a lot. So focusing on some encounters that are the storylines, great option. Even 13 jumps in a frigate is like 5 minutes. Yeah, I don't think the jumps are too long. I mean, you can kind of passively play, like especially, I don't know if you guys play at work, but you can kind of just like do these travel delivery missions just like passively, not paying attention, not risking any of your stuff. And then also we are going to put in a setting. How do I do that again? So there is a way that you don't avoid systems. Let's see. The map still needs work. Why am I blanking on this? There's a way where you don't avoid systems. So reach, just plus region map. Maybe it's when I click somewhere, when I go somewhere, it'll allow me to do it. Okay. Well, since I don't have an encounter, oh, it's nothing is your point. Yeah, of course. It's a pretty quick travel. But as you start getting bigger, you're going to maybe want to consider, especially like, say, for example, you have a fleet roam with your team. You're going to want to consider how far destinations you're going to have to travel, especially if you go on a fleet roam for PvP, because people are not going to want to just sit there for like 20 jumps. You're probably going to want to move items over or basically prepare in a sense. So you kind of have to prepare for those options or for operations. You're going to want to make sure everybody has the proper ship if you're going to travel some sort of distance. And then this also plays a role in terms of like war or anything like that. Like when you want to go, I guess, like attack another team, just keeping in mind how long it's going to take for you to travel, because there's no real ship spood beasts or anything that you can use. And it's important. That's just one thing you're going to want to factor in. Okay, so back to encounters. We're just doing these really basic encounters. And what I do, I kind of spam start a few of them. So this is just if you were to want to do really passive, easy. This is not, it's not going to require me to really look or think, and I'm not getting threatened on these types of missions because I'm staying pretty much in high security space, which I highly recommend if you're really, really new. I mean, you can always jump straight into PvP and whatnot, but you're really going to want to focus on building yourself up. Okay, so now I've started a bunch. This one's like super annoying because I can't finish it. Okay. So then I just choose the encounter that is the closest to me. Huh. Or did it just work? Yeah. Dock at any station. Claim new ship. Okay. So I'm going to undock and then dock and see if that works. Maybe my tutorial got unbugged. See? So I didn't panic and it got fixed. It's just one of those things where it's a little thing here and there that kind of doesn't end up working. Now remember, this again, for anybody who is new in viewing or is just joining the stream now, this is your overview. Your overview is super important. You can filter down specific things on here. And then you can make, different filter settings. But if you are under attack or you're an anomaly that you can't finish, you see the squares, go there. Or you can see the Stargate and go there. You can warp through. You can basically dock. But that way you aren't going to lose your ship. So don't try to just fight someone if you are tiny and small and you're going to end up losing. It's just not going to go well for you. And again, you want to save your assets. So activate a ship. Open inventory page. Now they're giving me, in the tutorial, see you get this free ship. So then you're going to activate it. You're going to click this. Well, first let's move my inventory out. So select all. I'm going to move my inventory to my item hanger. I'm I'm going to click my ship hangar. I'm going to click my Condor, which is now a frigate. I'm going to set that as active. So this is just us completing that basic tutorial. Activate the ship and begin. And I have activated it. Oops, wrong. Oh, the other thing is too, you can set shortcuts. So if you want to check out your ship fittings or your planetary production, you can use a few shortcuts, but you can only select up to 3. So we'll keep skills, that's a good one. And inventory is also a good one. So we'll keep that. Inventory, ship hangar. Maybe I'll set this as active again, and then I'll set that other one as active. Is it possible to appear on basic, or will some only appear on advanced or higher? Let me just read Salty Paul. How do missions and encounters appear? Is it just random? Yeah, so your encounters are going to be random, but you can refresh them. So it'll take every 30 minutes. And then when you level up to a specific tech level, you can actually change or filter down. So right now, I'm not in the tech level 5, but if I look at my news encounters, what I would do is click here, basics. These are going to show you which types you can unlock. Tech 5, now as you go down further and further, these encounters are going to be higher and higher level ISK, but they are going to be harder. So gradually harder. In terms of content, in terms of combat or anything, it will give you like advice or a little like a flag of just, hey, you might die in this. You are, you don't necessarily have the ship for this, and it gives you a recommended ship. So just keep that in mind. What alliance is Whoisafish in EVE Online? In EVE Online, I mean, I was in Wildly Inappropriate's alliance. But I am not a huge EVE Online player, so I actually started playing Echoes before I started playing EVE Online, and then I started learning about the EVE Online community, because our team had been playing other games, and basically was waiting for EVE Echoes to come out, and we just got so let down by other mobile games that we really wanted to take a look at this, take a look into the community and dive deeper and really learn what is the EVE community like. I know sometimes the EVE vets and the new players combat in terms of, butt heads a little bit, but there's a lot of really helpful EVE vets. So if you can find a few EVE vets that can take you under your wing, they can help teach you a lot. But again, it's just really good to be a bit of a self-starter. So doing your due diligence, not just saying, I think one big question people commonly ask is, how do I make ISK? That's such a broad question, because as we've seen, you can make ISK doing so many different things. You can make ISK in encounters. You can make ISK selling things on the market. You can make ISK doing a lot of, like, a variety of things. So it's helpful. You kind of help them help you in terms of doing just the basic tutorial, advanced tutorial, learning, getting familiar with some of those things. And I think that ends up going a long way for new players, where they are able to just familiarize themselves with some of these basic functions. And let's try to do this one again, because that is one thing that I will say is the basic tutorial is a little bit buggy, but it might just be because I'm rushing forward or rushing a lot faster. And then we're going to go to inventory, mission completed, and set as active. So let's see if that did it and that moved me forward, because really what I want to show you is I want to show people... Oh my God, okay. Well, I don't know how to refresh that. That'll just happen as we've seen before. Missions needed to complete a story will appear at basic level. I believe so, yes. I just don't think all of the missions, Nam, are you 100% sure on that? Because I think most of them will appear in basic, and then actually if you do certain encounters, you'll see that some of the basics will end up being in the higher level. Okay, so then Nam is confirming. So yeah, so if you want to complete the storyline missions, you will have to get that higher tech level. So thanks for confirming. Some of them, a lot, and actually quite a few of them are in basic. And I would just honestly try to do as many of the faction specific encounters as you can while you're in those basic encounters. It's just really, they're pretty easy. This one, for example, is just cargo. So let's do that. Let's see, begin. That one's 6 jumps. So what you see that I've done right now is in my encounters, I've activated a few, and then I'm just going to go to the closest one. These are transport missions, so they're not super difficult. Yep, refreshing every 30 minutes. Definitely refresh every 30 minutes, and then you'll get those new encounters. But just keep in mind, this is another thing, if you refresh, if you set your filter to advanced and then you refresh, you will only get advanced, and then you'll have to wait 30 minutes. If you say you want to go back to doing basic missions, you'll only have the advanced ones available. So that's just something to keep in mind. So now we're just doing some basic missions. These are not combat missions. These are just for anybody who is a little bit nervous to just jump right into that section of the game, but just needs to know, how do I make ISK? And again, even though this is a basic Omega account, you can do these encounters as an alpha. So this is a great way for you to make ISK. It is a grind. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It is going to be a little bit longer effort. So if you don't want to spend the $5, then you can definitely earn the ISK. So we go to the encounters. And then we're just going to continue on. So 5 jumps. So again, this is like what I would consider super passive encounters. These are great for if you are at work and you just throw up an emulator, if you're able to. I mean, I don't always recommend people to not do their work, but if you just want to basically, without any risk, earn ISK and just in the background, and you can also use those. We can't see right now, but once you enter in the advanced tutorial, the more encounters you do, confirm. Oh my god, this is such a pain. Yeah, and see, this just shows us the most basic things. I mean, you should know how to dock a station, upgrade your tech level, train a skill, claim a new ship. That's again just one of the biggest reasons on why. What is my UI? You mean like what emulator am I using? Bursec. I'm gonna try to cheese the advanced stories missions in a frig. Oh, Salty Paul, let me know how that goes for you. I would love to see if you can get that storyline mission, because those ones are definitely valuable. Definitely valuable to earn if you can. Blocked their own emulator from downloading the game. Blocked their own emulator from downloading the game. Well, this is Mumu, so I mean I'm on Mumu right now, and this is their emulator. That's the NetEase emulator. That's really unusual. Is it Mimu or are you using Mumu? Because they're two very different ones. See, this has been happening in congested areas. And you'll see I'm ignoring what this is saying. That's because sometimes if you spam click it, it ends up working. You get lucky. So we'll just see how long it takes me to spam click it and get it working. You can also set your destination to avoid these areas. But let's just say you don't want to do that. You just want to make it easier on your life to complete your encounters. I'll just continue clicking this. And that's very unusual if you're not able to download. Yeah, I'm definitely on Mumu, so I'm on Mumu emulator. Yeah, I would uninstall really quick and then try to reinstall your game on your emulator. Do you get anything normal on your Eve account if you play Echoes? I don't think so, but nice try. You get maybe like Hilmar's like fist bump. There's a huge dream, I think, though, down the road, and it's not that it will ever happen or can happen, and not that I'm saying it will. Okay, there we go. So you guys just saw I just spam clicked my way through that blockade. You can do this too. if you have the patience to do so. Now, a lot of Eve vets, and I think even some Echoes players are interested in seeing if this game will end up actually ever going, if they'll ever collide the world. So it's not anywhere close, near, and nor would we want it to be, because Eve Online is so further developed. I mean, they've been out since 2003, so it's not like we would really want to be like smashed into them right now. But I do think it would be such a cool thing to be able to see how those could potentially combine or work together. But it is very different, and some people are saying that Eve Echoes is Eve Light. It doesn't have as many things in EVE Online, but I don't think that necessarily gets rid of the depth. There's still a lot of depth in the game. And I don't know, I still highly recommend players who play EVE Echoes to check out EVE Online, just because there's a lot more components, like in terms of there's more modules to fit on the ships. There's the market's just a lot different. It's a whole different ball game almost. So I don't always know if the two are fully comparable. But in terms of the diplomacy and the game dedication and, people and their stories that they're going to build, I think that's going to be one of the main things that transfers over that's just going to be an Eve thing. It's not going to be Echoes or Online. It's how people build their teams and whatnot is definitely, it's definitely important. It's a big component of the world. Okay, bam. So let's see. Encounters. Did I not finish that one? Open the intelligent assistant. Okay. Begin advancement. Open the intelligent assistant. Okay, begin. Maybe this one's going to start my advanced tutorial. So that's my intelligent assistant, my little orb. So I did that. So now my advanced tutorial should be unlocked. Beautiful. Okay, sweet. So as we can kind of see, if anyone has been watching this for a little while, it's definitely been a little bit bugged. But again, that could be for a variety of reasons. Really just getting the advanced tutorial unlocked. And here's why. We're going to look through, and you can actually see the rewards you're going to get. Insurance vouchers. If you guys don't know how to use your insurance voucher, you're going to click your character. And then you're going to click combat log. Obviously, I haven't had any combat yet. And then if you've lost your ship, you will be able to apply your insurance voucher in here. And then this is also where you're going to see your kill mails. So just keep that in mind. So then let's see if I can hide this, because I don't feel like seeing that little guy right there. Basic. And I'm going to abandon that mission, confirm. And then I'm going to click my mail. They were asking for people to give feedback on the tutorial. Oops. Sorry, now I'm just speed clicking everywhere. So you can see in the advanced tutorial, if you guys are just looking to passively play, you can do the advanced tutorial and get a bunch of items. Here is that venture trainer. So as we talked about earlier, you get a venture for free, really. But it's not going to be the ship you want to stick with if you're a miner. Like, you would want to maybe get a venture trainer and be like, okay, I really like mining. Or you'd be like, man, I hate mining. This sucks. I don't want to be a miner. I want to do something else. So you can continue along with the advanced tutorial, and you're going to see these are super valuable. These are chips that give you those skill points back. That means you can skill up faster. And skilling is extremely important. Like, that, I cannot stress enough how important making sure you're skilling up is. You also get a free destroyer, so you can choose which destroyer you want. But keep in mind, you're going to want to choose a destroyer that you've skilled up for in that weapon. So a lot of people were asking, what destroyer should I choose? Which should be the free destroyer I go with? So you see there's a few with drones, and then there's 2 with missiles. So we've got Tower and Corax. Now let me just show you a way that you can help yourself make an informed decision as you look at the market. And we are going to look at high slots, and I'm going to look at missiles. And I'm going to see what missiles are here. Yeah, perfect. Okay, that's my regional cells. Missiles. So let's say I am tech level 3. That's what that MK3 means. That means you have to be the tech level 3 in order to use that. If I wanted to buy one of those guys on my destroyer, that's going to be 25,000 ISK, okay? And then I've got launchers. But I'm looking at these weapons. Tech level 7, I'm not tech level 7, so I cannot use that one. But in terms of MK1 small, 100, okay, cool. It looks like there's a lot of options for missiles in terms of weapons. And now what I'm going to do is not at... Where are my drones? I think my drones are mid-slot. Drones. Okay, so drones. So looking at my small drones, what we are seeing here is there is a little bit less of a selection for weapons. So so that's because those 2 free ships, 2 of them have drone bonuses and 2 have missiles. So just looking at this, it's a little bit more expensive. Like, remember, that's 1 module, and there's going to be typically a few modules on a destroyer that you need to fit, so you're going to need to get more than 1. But you can see that these are more expensive. So that means if you were just wanting to buy your modules to fit on your ship, a drone option might be a little bit harder to fit and play around with and see what you like. Whereas a missile option, I could buy MK1 missiles, or I also have these. And look, we just have 7,000. In fact, those are 15 jumps away. You know what? I'm going to purchase these 2. You know what? I will click claim by myself. Okay. That's a pretty good deal. Oh, insufficient balance. Okay, so I don't have enough. Maybe I'll just buy 1. Perfect. Did I not get it? Oh, maybe someone else got it. I don't know. I can check my inventory on my purchase. And then you can see... Nope, I did not get it. So someone else bought it faster than me, so that went off the market really quick. So if you want to go pick it up yourself, you can either autopilot out there, or you can pick it up at a later date, and you can just click wherever your inventory is and then set your destination. So then let's earn a little bit more ISK with these encounters. And I'm trying to do a little bit more like as though this was an alpha account, even though I had to buy the Omega because I can't skill up since I have 2 other clones on here. And you can see because I've mass clicked a few encounters at one time, like when I go for a delivery in one place, it might actually end up being another encounter's location for me to pick something up. So I kind of choose a few at a time, especially if it's a transport or investigation mission. Again, those are just those really easy passive missions to do that make easy ISK, that don't involve combat, that just allow you to get more familiar with some of the gameplay layout and just traveling, and just get you a little bit more familiar with game mechanics. The Young Jing destroyers are definitely going to be a lot of vets have considered the new faction ships and modules to be highly overpowered. What's going to probably end up happening is as this game progresses, that specific faction ship is probably going to need to be balanced. So any of the Young Jing ships right now are going to definitely be a high power. So they're going to be very high damage, high powered ships. So just know that if you have not been logging into your dailies, definitely want to log into your dailies. You do not want to miss out on getting that ship. It's a valuable ship to have. So I would highly recommend that. Where to apply? I'm bored. I just got into 0.4. This Discord is posted anywhere specific. Let's see. I can see if anyone in the chat will be free to post our Obsidian Discord, and you can check out if you want to join our team. Again, for Obsidian, we are really recruiting very highly aggressive combat players, so we expect all of our players to be you know, to just really have a little bit of thick skin, we just really go for very specific play style. So if that seems like it's going to be a good culture fit for you, feel free to apply and check it out, and our officers will vet you a little bit and then kind of get you integrated. And while we're traveling, maybe I can pop up the Discord and get you an invite. One moment. All right. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be a link that's good for about 12 hours, so feel free to join if you guys are interested, and then our officers will vet you, and you guys can kind of see if we're the right fit for you. All right, so just doing a few encounters. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot or ask. I'm kind of checking this in between. Let's see. Okay, so we do have some people requesting Corp permissions for donating Omegas. So, All right. Well, I do have to I did want to show you guys, especially if you're in a corporation, how you can have your CEO set the permissions so that you guys can all give donations to the team other than just the taxes. So let's get that set up. Give me 1 second. I mean, does anybody want to see the Little Mermaid video again, the virtual part of your world? Because I can always play that again while I get the other account up. You want to see it again? Okay. Okay, so for anybody who's new to the stream or new following, this is an exclusive sneak peek at some content. This is just one of the many music videos we're planning to do in terms of Eve. Just kind of had a lot of fun with it and hope you guys enjoy. So I'll get that playing while I get the other account set up. All right? For those of you who haven't seen it yet, enjoy.
I just don't see how a world that makes such wonderful things could be bad. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think that my corp is complete? Wouldn't you think I'm a girl who has everything? Look at my ships, assets untold. How many wonders can one hang or hold? Looking around here you think, sure, she's got everything. I've got modules and rigs in plenty. We've got miners who give precious ore. You want data cores? We've got plenty. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to be where the battles are. I want to see someone get evicted. People get salty when they've been... What's that word again? Oh, beat. Living in high sec, you don't get too far. Courage is required for growing, expanding. Command while you fly, and that... What's that word again? Fleet. Out where they shoot, out where there's spies, out where they sit all day and fly. Wandering Eve, so you believe in this virtual world. What would you give if you could live out in no pronounce the word burn. When's it my turn? When I love to explore that space above all. You should believe. Join us in Eve in this virtual world.
Okay, so get the round 2 of the virtual world, more to come. So now we are on a different account, and I am just going to go into corporation so we can look at permissions, because in here I am a CEO. Woo! So for any aspiring CEOs, there are a few things you're going to want to learn, and it's all about permissions, making sure the right officers have permissions. What Nam is wanting permissions too. So I'm going to go to him. He is a director, so he has directing permissions. All right, let's go to permission management. And you should have clone management. Why? Nam, you should have access. Okay, but in terms of finance management, so this is one thing that a lot of players were not understanding. They were going into here and they were wondering why their players were not able to donate. So this is the ISK wallet. And if you want your players to be able to donate, this is the arrow button that goes in. So that's where people can put money in. And then this allows them to take money out. So you can see that for my directors, my officers, I give them permission to take money out of that ISK wallet. And then, I would like to be able to change these names, but I think that's kind of bugged. Like each time I've changed it, it doesn't necessarily stick. But I'll probably be able to change that later. So I've added it so that everybody can donate in towards the ISK wallet. And then when I go back here, if you look at the top here, you see finance management. The only way that people can actually donate is if you've clicked and checked that to make sure that that is on. If this is not on, it'll say that your members have insufficient permissions. Don't worry, finance management does not mean that they are going to be able to take money out. It just means that once you allow finance management, that they'll have access to wallet. It's up to you to make sure that you set it so that they cannot take money out by clicking this guy right here. So let's see. You need to give clone permissions to another player. What does that mean? What do you mean? And then when you're clicking around in here, you can see the Z wallet. And here you can see donations or bounties. You can actually check your players to see who is doing encounters. And right now we have a set 15% tax. So any member that you have in your corp is basically going to get taxed at what you set them at. So I did have a few players who felt like 15% tax was too high. But we've got a mortgage to pay, and right now it's time for teamwork. So we set it at 15% because we felt like it was a solid amount of tax for our players. And you can see that this is just the tax on their overall bounty. So you can see Raw is just nailing it. I like to check this as a CEO to see who is doing encounters and call people out for just making sure that they get recognized. So we can just see Grim Reaper nailing it. And even some of the other guys, if they're not necessarily massive, massive PvP or PvE kind of content, or I guess players, they're still making ISK for the team. So that's really good. And then you can release to see more. So you can go back pretty far back. Kaizen getting that 89,000. So you can just pretty much take a look and make sure that this is a way that you can kind of see who's pretty active in the corp. So let's see. Denali. Oh, you want to donate corp permissions. So are you I need to give clone permissions to another player. Okay, let's see. Put me on the spot in Alive. Let's see. I am gonna give clone management to a finance officer. And then I am going to click my members. And who was it? Denley. I'm going to click my gear and set him as a finance officer. And now I'm going to make sure I went back and that I made sure to set it that finance officers can't take out. See, I only have specific directors who can take out. Okay. So now that I just changed my permissions, do you want to check and see if Denley now has the permissions he needs to give an Omega? So we can see if that worked. But again, I guess I'll just kind of go through this one more time because this was a big thing that a lot of people really didn't know how to set. And it's really important because a lot of people are going to obviously be giving or helping get rid of your corporation mortgage through the taxes that you set. But if you have the ability to allow them to give donations, which means that arrow going into the corp, you have to at least give them finance management. If they don't have finance management, they will not be allowed to do anything in terms of they won't be able to donate. That was a big area of contention that a lot of people were struggling with. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else. Oh, nice. We got another. I wonder if that was a donation. No, that was a bounty. And then sometimes I send out messages to the team. You can send out mails like this. I like to tell people that donations are sexy because I like to put catchy subject lines in my corporation emails so that people actually read them, because nobody wants to read donate today. They like to see something funny that's going to make them laugh. So we do that. And then we do have diplomacy that you can set in corporations. So we have, you can see these are the ones that we've set as friendly, and we don't have any added to hostile yet. Or maybe it's just taken off for the stream purposes, who knows. But you can pretty much add a relationship, and then you can type and find the corporation or the alliance. You can see there's a lot of different corps, and this is the alliance that we are in. So that's kind of a little bit of a sneak peek into a corporation status. If you guys are maybe a CEO or an officer, those are just some good little tidbits to know. Does anybody have any questions while I'm in this account in regards to corps or corporations? Otherwise, I will switch back out into the noob account so that we can continue on those fun encounters and finish up our advanced tutorial. Any questions at all on corps? Took them off for the stream, huh? Which stream? Well, you mean the... Well, I take off my main account for the stream, yeah, because, you know, got to be an Eve player. You got to think ahead. You don't want everybody just knowing what you're up to or where you are. But yeah, so I kind of have my other little account just to go through all the basics and general play components. But without any more questions, then let me switch up my profile. And let me just show you guys this as well in case you want to know how to change your profile. You'll be going in the settings, and then you can click down here and you basically press switch pilot and confirm. So then it's going to switch. And there we are. Now it's loading back into Slyfish. So you might have gotten a little bit of a sneak peek at where we are, but I'm not too concerned about that. We kind of like people who come and have a good time. Remember, really the biggest thing that I think our team specifically likes to focus on is having fun, building relationships, and challenging yourself. If you're not doing those three things, then you know, that's really what our team values are all about. So So yeah, so now we're back to Slyfish and back to doing those encounters. So for anybody, you know, who's just wanting to figure out how to make some ISK and just the general components of the game, these are a great place to start. And I want to remove that. So you can remove the advanced tutorial on your interface so that you don't see it on your screen. So now it's gone. And anytime I want to click it, I just go to my little orb. And then again, you have a various amount of things that you can do in order to complete these. Keep in mind, this is something a lot of people get confused on. The advanced tutorial, you have your necessary missions and your optional missions. You only have to do one of these optional missions, and you will have to do both of these necessary missions. So that's a big distinguishing factor. Would you recommend players have more than one account? I do recommend that. However, if you are a very, 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 very new player, start with one and just stick with that in the beginning. But really consider, as you're scaling up, to try to specialize in something. So I would not go half industry, half ship combat. I would try to, you know, if you do have two toons, like two characters, maybe you have one that is kind of focused on industry and you'd have one that's focused on combat. If you start skilling all over the place, you can easily do that, but what you're doing is you're kind of diluting your skills, so you're not having a specialized profession, so to speak. Mistakes were made for me specifically, and I'll be totally transparent about that. For example, on my CEO account, I skilled up for the CEO role, and that took up tons of skill points. So I'm failing to basically skill up in any other role other than a CEO. So that means I can't skill up in my weapons. It means I can't skill up in industry. It means I'm just kind of stuck a little bit, and that means it's harder for me to make ISK. I can still do combat, I can still do industry, but it's going to cost me more. So that's kind of one of the biggest things. If you do have more than one account, I would suggest that if you have you would have a main account and then you'd have just kind of your other supporting accounts. So right now, as it stands, I have three of my clones on this one account. But remember that you won't be able to skill up multiple accounts unless they're all Omega. So just keep that in mind. You can be basic Omega, but you can create separate accounts with one clone, and then it wouldn't interfere as much. But yeah, I definitely would say that it's going to be hard for players to learn in advance if they're trying to spread their attention too thin between an industry account here and a PvP account here. Remember, there's going to be other players that have been playing this game for like years. You know, EVE Online's been out since 2003, so a lot of other players might have some, you know, other knowledge that they're going to be a little bit ahead of you in that terms. So then don't get too frustrated and be just trying to catch up with someone who's able to multi-box 10 accounts. I am not going to multi-box 10 accounts. I could not handle that capacity. So I'm just trying to play with what I am capable of, like what I know that I will be able to handle and manage. Everybody is on the same server as of now. Right now it's a fully international server. They did have plans initially to keep to have two servers. One would be dedicated, a dedicated Chinese server, and then one would be international. But as they launched EVE Echoes, they started out on one server. They did mention they have plans to eventually create a Chinese-only server. So it'll be interesting to see how that affects gameplay right now, if there is a player migration out of the game into a different or separate server. But I believe there's only going to be these two servers. It's not going to be a game like, say, Nova Empire, where you're on a bunch of different servers and then they clash the servers together to become an elite server. I don't think they're going to have something like that. In EVE Online, for example, they had two servers and now it's pretty much just one. So it's not, you know, it's going to be just one of those things where this is the bulk of all the people in here. This is the main server. It's not a bunch of small micro servers. So good question, though. So roll call, have you considered or have you made another account by any chance? If you are looking into making multiple accounts. Just kind of curious. I know a lot of new players are feeling like they need to kind of catch up in a way. Mark is red. The little red notification button just like bothers, my OCD just kicks in. And even though it says select all, it's a lie. There we go. Select all, mark is red. Okay, there we go. Got rid of that. This has been driving me insane. This fastist.com, like I would not buy any ISK. Like just as there's people can scam you on the market in Eve. I mean, people can scam you in real life. Like as I'm showing you, you can literally do encounters and play the game to make ISK. There's no reason to buy ISK. And if you really, if you really want to get quick ISK, you can buy Plex, which is made by the game. So the game, that game currency is you're going to put back into the player base for other players and help free-to-play players and support the developers as well. So I highly recommend not doing anything like fastist.com. It's not going to be safe. It's not going to be legal, and it's just not good for anybody. I just learned it's good to have a farm account to get what you need. I would agree with that. I do think it's good to have some sort of farm account. That's kind of what I've been doing with my other account in terms of like mining, and then with Planetary production, because Planetary production is super valuable. Remember, that's such a limited resource. So having a different character that's fully dedicated to Planetary action, especially because it's passive, it's a really good option. So really quick, I am going to remove corporation chat. Well, I'm going to remove local and system chat and just get that so I don't have to see people's messages, because I don't necessarily want to. Contracts are very smooth. I definitely would agree. You can get contracts with other players. If anyone wants to put in their in-game name into the chat, I can show you guys how a contract works. So that would be kind of a nice thing to show people. What's the best way to get a second account or make a guest account? Well, there's a few ways. You can either use your other clones on your game. So when you notice, I'm going to talk about clones as one account. You have 3 clones per one account. And then you can also get another account with another 3 clones. Remember that if you have 3 clones on one account, you will have to make sure that they are all Omega subscriptions in order to skill them all up at the same time. I can skill up my Omega accounts, but if I have an Alpha clone on one account, it will tell me that I have to wait until they're done skilling, and that would be kind of a huge setback. You won't be able to skill them. So that's one of the most valuable things in there, is to be able to skill them. So if you don't want to get the Omega account and you want to be able to, so I'm just doing my encounters, just passive. So this is this is pretty easy. This is one of the easiest ways I would say you make ISK. It's not going to be drastically huge. You're not going to get tons and tons of ISK from this, but it is possible. And again, this is something that you could literally do while you're not really paying attention too much. So it's just kind of nice, easy, passive. In terms of account, can I have 2 accounts on the same Google Play account? I don't want to have alts on the same account. I would rather just have a second. I don't know if you've heard of parallel space, and I haven't double checked that it works, but while I'm traveling, let me download it and see if it does. There is a thing called parallel space on your phone that you can download, and it allows you to sign in into an additional account. I don't know though if you can have one on the same Google Play. I have personally 2 Google Play accounts, so I would basically just log out of one and then log into another one. So you might want to just make another Google Play account and just make it just an extra one to have. That might be a possibility. And then I will check on the parallel space one, because that was a really easy way that I had multiple apps on my phone. which I don't know if it's frowned upon. It might be, but multi-boxing in Eve is not, as of now, is not against the rules. So you're okay to have multiple toons. You're okay to have other characters. They're just, the big thing is botting is not allowed. That is absolutely clear cheating. Botting is like when you create a script that's going to make your ship do things automatically. Making a really big problem in EVE Online. So let's see, encounters. So we've just kind of gone through news. I believe it's been 30 minutes since now. And what did I have? Let's see, my inventory. Remember, I bought some Scordite that would be completing. And where did I leave it? Aha, 100. So that's 6 jumps away, so not super far. So then looking at encounters. So I'll continue doing this one. Bam. And I'm just doing some of those storyline missions. The reason that these storyline missions are good, so for anyone who's kind of new to the stream, these encounters, the encounters I'm doing are, again, not combat, not really difficult, but the news encounters that have a storyline attached to them, which are not showing here. So let's refresh. So remember, you can refresh, and then every 30 minutes you'll be able to refresh this guy again. So here is a faction-specific encounter. Those go towards these storylines that you need to complete. You can see I've already done a few of the Caldari ones, and I've already done a few of the Minmatar ones. So those are pretty easy to get. And then you can actually see what rewards you get in this box in here. So what I did is I just clicked in that, and I looked at the box, and you can see the items that you get. So these are pretty valuable stuff. Let's see, we can see if anyone has it. There's no sale order, so that I don't necessarily think anyone's either sold one, or it's possible people haven't finished the storylines yet. You could steal your girlfriend's phone and make one there for her. You could also get her interested in Eve. I mean, I used to not think I'd be a huge hardcore gamer. My kind of a fun fact as we're traveling is my boyfriend used to play EVE Online, and then pretty much what ended up happening is I was like, why is he on this stupid game so much? So we ended up quitting when we started dating seriously, but he started playing Nova Empire, which is another space MMO. And I joined the game secretly so that I could kill him in game, because he always thought he was like Mr. PvP. So I joined I joined secretly and pretty much kind of built up, and he had absolutely no idea that I was doing this. And I thought it would be a great strategy to let everybody know that the girlfriend is in here to kill the boyfriend, and that did not go so well for me. Everyone turned on me and attacked me because he was a feared pirate in that server. So lo and behold, now I started building up a team and really getting invested in the game. And I'd say now probably I'm more hardcore than he is. So I think a lot of girls are going to be playing EVE Online, or not EVE Online, EVE Echoes, just because a lot more women play mobile games than I think a lot of people realize. But if you guys do have a girlfriend who is unsure, always feel free to send them to me in a Discord, and I'd be happy to tell them about my experience and how much fun it's been for my boyfriend and I play together. I think it actually has helped our communication. It's been really fun, and then anytime I want, I can always just boot his ass from the Corp. But yeah, really, it's a really cool game. I think actually I have already convinced 2 wives of other players that are friends of mine to get their wives involved and to give it a try and to play. Albion Online right now. Oh, that's cool. I've never heard of Albion Online. But yeah, I definitely like the mobile side of things. Not that I'm against PC games, but I was always used to be a little bit of a console gamer when I was like much younger, and then life got in the way, and I just kind of was like, oh, I don't know if gaming is really that big of a deal right now. Like, it's not super important. I had no idea about these types of games, and I think there's a lot of other benefits that these games give, like the team gameplay. Kind of much as much I would liken it to someone who plays football in their off time. this is kind of like a team sport in a way. If you want that to become something like that for you, it can be a team sport. I mean, we go in fleet ops all the time. We have fleet commanders. I mean, you're basically in charge of making sure your team's ships don't get shot down. And it does give you that kind of leadership and communication experience. I even learned how to type in Russian just to make a Russian ally in a game. So you improve a lot of different things. So it's a really, really cool thing to experience. Okay, so I'm going to accept this one. I don't see a Scordite contract, so kind of getting shafted on the Scordite, which sucks. Oh, there we go. 16 jumps. Yikes. So, I mean, that's not going to be super long. Already did the Galente one. And you guys can do these missions over and over and over again for the same amount of ISK if you want. It's not going to reduce the amount of ISK you get. Doesn't affect the storyline mission or anything like that. So, accept. Not enough cargo. So that one's telling me I don't have enough cargo capacity. So let's just check this. So it's saying that I would need 590. So that's good for you to know. If you accept transport missions, you'd need to make sure that you have a ship for transport missions. Helping relationships, goals. Hey, it's 100% true. I'm telling you. If you guys want to improve your communication in your relationship, show your girl some Eve, get them into playing, and I'm telling you, I think it was really helpful. Like I honestly did a whole blog series all about how I definitely think these types of games offer a really unique world that people aren't often aware of, and they teach you communication skills, leadership skills, just a lot of different things that I probably wouldn't have really gotten so invested in if I didn't get into Eve. Plus, then it's like, then your girl's not going to go aggro when you're just like, but I have a fleet op. If she's involved in the team, then it's exciting for her too. So, and there's always roles for everyone. If someone's like, well, I don't want to do shooting, I don't want to attack other people. They can do industry things. They can help you with your planetary production. Like, there's literally a role for everybody. In terms of fleet ops, you have so many different options. Like, there's DPS. So if you go into fleet operation, you can have a DPS ship that's damage per second. It's similar if anyone's ever played other MMOs like World of Warcraft. You have your healers, you have your tanks, and you have your damage. There's the same component in this game. So just remember that different ships have different abilities, and you can activate those using, lo and behold, your modules. So I have personally played a tank, and I have done DPS. I am now looking into becoming a Logi pilot, which means I want to be a healer. I want to heal my other teammates when we go into a battle. So all of these roles are really important. Everybody, one person not being able to fit in their role can actually change the tides if you're in a battle with anybody. So that's, it's a really cool kind of component in terms of team play. Logi all the way. I know, right? I think Logi would be super fun. It's like everyone always targets the Logi too because, that's the healer. So you kill the healer, you really weaken the team. But I think it'll be pretty fun. You've not started playing Eve Echoes as of yet, but you almost have him convinced. Hey, I'm telling you, one of the coolest things, although this was funny about our relationship, is because of how political these games have and the nature of their politics, we would have to avoid telling people, like I would say outwardly, because I was too trusting, we're going to go on a date night, and then we would have teams basically plot an attack on our team at that time. So then we would be out on a date night, and my boyfriend and I would have to whip out our phones and play while we were on date night. So, if you're on the fence about Eve Echoes, just realize, like, this is PvP in your pocket. Like, I've had so many different stories where I remember someone was attacking us, and I told my boyfriend to pull over. This is the first time I got the shakes, which are really exciting. It's when your hands, your heart, like, you just have this full adrenaline rush where you, like, have something super valuable and you feel like you might lose it. And I told my boyfriend, we got to pull over. Like, we were on our way to the grocery store. And I said, we're under attack. And he was like, okay, like, calm. And he helped me through it. So that was, way back when. I feel like I'm a lot more comfortable with mechanics now. But that's, EVE Online's got this amazing PC client. Having Echoes is just an extension. Like, you can you know, people always say it's toilet, you can play on the toilet. Well, yeah, you can play on the toilet, but you can also play at the bar, and you can play in a road trip, you can play in an airplane, you can play it anywhere, and that's so cool to be able to think that you have this little world of diplomacy in your pocket that you can take. Well, maybe not diplomacy if you're like a merc or whatever, but it's just, there's a lot of options is all I'm saying. You don't want to start a game only to find out your food for the whales. Well, I mean, there are going to be big players in here, but it is a sandbox, so it's an ambition simulator. So if you want to have a massive scale corp and dominate and, you know, go through and just tear it up in certain areas, you can. You can make allies. You can, you know, play all those different roles, and I feel like that ties into the ambition that you want. So as much as you put in is as much as you're going to get out. But I don't, the difference with the payment model, I would say it helps alleviate some of that issue. And then let's see, inventory. Where were my, so I bought scored, I remember earlier, because I was trying to show the margin. It cost me 200, and I'm doing an encounter that's going to give me 3,500 ISK. So that's 9 jumps away. And now I'm kind of floating away. So sometimes the encounters are a bit closer to each other, and sometimes they're not. Required cargo. Oh no, do I not have enough cargo in here? Inventory. Let's see. So that's one thing I'm not paying attention to is my actual cargo. I need protein. And then let's see, this other guy. Oh, maybe I already have it. What is it? 75 units and 50. Okay, so I already have that. It's just because I have 2 things in my cargo. So just kidding. So then as obviously you can see, I mean, this is not, you're not going to get rich doing these types of encounters. You're not going to just like make mad ISK doing this, but you are going to be able to make some ISK, and you are going to get familiar with the controls. Let our wives and girlfriends be the diplomats. Let's see what stories and war brew up. I don't know if it would, I mean, there are definitely, everyone's different, but if people are going to think that women are going to come into this game and just play nice, I don't necessarily think that's always the case. I, for instance, depending on which character I am, can have a lot of bloodlust. So I like to have, again, we always go back to having fun. I really do believe in the shake. I think the shakes are an adrenaline rush that I think everyone needs to be able to experience. And then I did experience in other games where we lost it all. Like we lost our corp, we lost our territory, and then we fought back and came back and won and overcame those challenges. So, you know, not being scared to lose things. Our motto is fleets are not collectibles. Like it's, you know, you're here to have fun and just try your best. And sometimes we win most and lose some, and at the end of the day, it's just kind of having fun with your bros or, you know, your gals, and it's a really cool experience, not being too scared to lose what you've built up. That's probably one of the biggest issues I'd see with these pay-to-win games is it's no wonder people don't want to go fight. They've just spent money to buy something, like real life currency to buy something, so it makes sense on why they don't want that to get destroyed. In this game, what you spend is your time. You spend time, and it takes a little longer, but that long-term gameplay, like the struggle it took you to build that retriever only to have someone kill it and shoot it down, you're going to want to hunt that player down. You're going to want to get your revenge. So it's got all these really cool components to it. Speaking of retrievers and speaking of rigs, it's important to fit your ship with the right modules, but it's really, I always tell people, don't fly a naked bee. If you look in your fittings, I don't know if it'll show me on my frigate, but you got your mid slot, and then there's also going to be an area for rigs. So if you're an industry player, don't fly your ship without your rigs. Like, for example, a core warp stabilizer for your retriever is going to be really important. That can be the difference between someone sitting on a gate, jumping you, scrambling you, and then destroying an asset that you took 2 weeks, 3 weeks to build. So you don't, you don't want to just jump into the ship as soon as you get it. You want to make sure you have the modules, the rigs, the right fitting, and the ship, and then you're ready to go out with it. So many people get the ship and they're just like, I've spent so much time getting this ship, I'm ready to go out in it, but they didn't actually make sure it was fit properly. So that's a massive mistake, and I would, I would really highly suggest avoiding doing anything like that. Okay, so let's see how far I am, because I'm kind of getting further out, but I wanted to go back and get that scored just to show that, again, you don't have to mine in order to get this. You can basically just buy some of these resources and finish them. 75 units volume. What is going on here? Oh no. 75. Yeah, that's 75. That looks like it's right. I'm just getting weird about the 75. Okay. I'm all good. Whale experience is totally different. EE is a much more grind and can truly be free to play. I would 100% agree. This really can be a true free to play experience. Not trying to smash on any alphas, because I know some people have not been, we waited for this game for 2 years. I got to know the devs. I actually went to EVE Vegas, met the devs personally, both from NetEase and CCP. And I, got to know people from the EVE community, and even like a lot of these EVE Online guys who sometimes people feel like they're, better vets. There's just for every one better vet, there's going to be an incredible, awesome, very helpful EVE Online vet. So we've got quite a few of a mix. We've got a very eclectic team. And it's just a really cool group of people. I mean, it's kind of a hard-ass, really fun team that you can kind of get, or a community that you can join in, that it teaches you a lot about yourself. Like, you become a lot more thick-skinned, you become tough, because you realize when you lose something that you can just come back from that loss. And in terms of buying things, yeah, roll call. I mean, I'm also a little fish. It's actually one of my my alt's names, Little Fish. And I do think it's one of those things where you don't have to be huge to become space famous in a game like this. Like, you don't have to have the biggest ship. Like, you can become a spy, and you could destroy a team that way. You could scam the market. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can do to become what they call space famous. And that's kind of one of the cool components, is it really does bring back that anyone can be anything. You're always going to have spenders in games, but I feel like what they do with this whole market system is really limit that. So imagine that I spent $1,000 on Plex, and then I just buy a bunch of ISK, and then I just buy my way into a ship. If I go out into nullsec and I don't know what I'm doing, then I can lose that ship. And a free-to-play player can then collect that loot and then sell that loot on the market and use my loot. So that's such a huge difference compared to other mobile games. The market economy is really, really rich and really interesting. It's a lot like a real market in a way, where we put value on things, which is, again, kind of one of the biggest points on why I advise people not to just look at those estimated prices in the market. When you look at that, just looking at these estimated values on things, just, using your own head in terms of what value people are going to place on things. So let's see, so now we're starting to see a lot more ventures out here, and let's see, venture 2. Because these weren't out even just from the beginning of the stream. When I looked over in the area I was in, there were no real ventures for sale. So now it looks like venture 2s are being sold for about almost 4 mil ISK, and then these venture, just the basic venture, is about under $1 mil. So it really depends on what you want to do and what your playstyle is, but if you like manufacturing and like building things from scratch, I highly recommend building at least one ship from scratch. It's really fun to gather all the materials and then build it. There's a little sense of accomplishment there. But if you calculated it out in a venture, that this is about $1 mil, and then I just clicked that again. And then we look at the blueprints for a venture. And we looked at those ingredients, per se, that you would need to build. Ship blueprints. The ingredients you would need to build a venture. You could calculate by using an Excel spreadsheet if that, what your margin is going to be. And then think and factor in your time. Oops. Okay, so it's about 14K ISK. So let me just kind of go through that. 14K ISK. And then we've got our lustering alloy, condensed alloy, condensed, motley. I am just going to take a screenshot and get some OCR on this because I kind of want to do a rough calculation on how much it would cost for me to make this. So give me 1 second. Let me open. I am opening now a spreadsheet while I fly around, while I've got my 6 jumps. As you can see, I'm totally safe. Oh, congested. Okay, so as anyone who hasn't seen this before, you can just like continue to spam this. Boom, I got in. So sometimes you get a little bit faster, sometimes it's slower, just depends on how lucky you are. Back to the market. We're gonna look at that venture blueprint. Venture. The blueprint was about 14,000. We'll put 14,400. And then remember, this isn't factoring in taxes. Okay, blueprint, ship blueprints. And since you guys are watching the stream, I'm going to show you a little secret that you can use if you want to gather information. And in a quick spreadsheet, I don't know if you guys can see. If you guys have not heard of the tool called ShareX, ShareX can capture your screen and it can give you OCR. So let's see. So I'm just getting my planet yield. And what it does is it basically, I'm just taking a screenshot pretty much of this venture blueprint, and then I'm able to paste in the text into an Excel spreadsheet. Then you can kind of reorganize it. And if anyone's familiar with any Excel macros, it's great for reorganizing your data into like a format. So that's a little secret tool, ShareX. If anyone's not familiar with it, you can always feel free to shoot me a message and I'll give you a link. But it's a free tool that I use to screen capture game blueprints. And special, okay. So tritanium, maxallion, and pyrite. Delete. And pretty much what I'm doing right now is I'm building a spreadsheet just to calculate the amount of margin I would save if I either build this myself or if I buy it. So that helps you instead of, because I know a few players like end up spending so much ISK on buying things, but if you can calculate really quickly what your savings are by just making it, you can also make it as well. But then again, got to factor in time. So how much time did it take to get all of those? Okay. So delete. And I got to look one more time because my OCR text is not perfect. So it'll give you like most of the text, but it won't give you like 100% accuracy. So it's kind of just got to spot check it. Okay. Blueprints, ship blueprints, and then one last time we can look at this guy. Perfect. So 43,551. Please check the name. Beautiful. So you can see, I mean, again, I'm not making a crazy amount of ISK, but what I am doing is these encounters I'm doing are moving me forward towards my optional missions. So I just did 1 out of 1. So I can now claim, since I'm docked, I can claim my insurance. Let's go back there to the advanced tutorial. And I can claim it. Oh, wait, I'm not finished. I got to upgrade to tech level 2. So let's see where I'm at in my tech level skills. And this gives you an average estimation. So it looks like I'm going to have another 2 hours in order for me to skill faster. Now, if you are a spender, or you want to spend and you don't want to wait and grind and hold out for this, you can buy the cognitive neuroscience one-time purchases, and this will allow you to skill faster. So just kind of going back to that, that's in the store, and you would buy these cognitive neuroscience chips. You can buy them there or here. You can and then pretty much, I just bought the gift pack on my main account. I'm not going to buy one on this account because to me, skilling on the an alt account as fast is not as important. So it's like this is more of like a farm account. But I would buy that. You'd go to your pilot service and then spend the AUR to buy these 3 chips. And then you would basically access them in your inventory and apply them to yourself. And that would allow your character to skill up faster. So we're just going to have to hold out and wait until I am Tech 2 in order for me to finish that first mission so that I can collect my little insurance voucher. So back to looking at the, looking at the blueprint. So again, we found that our venture is about 980,000 ISK. And what I'm trying to do is find out the cost. Oh, and then I'm going to have to think about the manufacturing cost. And there's so much into going into manufacturing. Really finding, if you're like a PvP Corp and you find some good indie allies, that's always very helpful. And condensed alloy would be 551. Okay, delete. Okay, titanium, toxic. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is now look at the materials it takes to buy this stuff. So titanium, I need 26,286. So equals this. I know I'm kind of working on a different screen, but it's just imagine an Excel screen, not anything super fancy. So, and then also just keep in mind that I would have to buy titanium. I need to get 26,000 titanium for this, but all of these guys only have like a 9,000 quantity for 450 quantity. So I would actually have to not only travel, I would have to literally travel to all these locations. So factoring in travel time is going to be a big component. So let me just throw in another encounter. And I did not pick up my scordite, so I would want to pick up my scordite because I don't have a mining equipment in order to do anything with that. So we're going to set destination. So you see how this was a previous like station that I was docked at. Now I'm just setting my destination, and bam. Caracal fitting tips. Yeah, actually, let me give you some caracal fitting tips, and then I'll kind of go back to the venture blueprint. But my suggestion is, so let's look at, so first, and what I want to try to do is, I don't want to fish for you, I want to teach you guys how to fish. So I'm trying to explain a little bit of what you can look at so that you guys can make as many informed decisions as possible. People can just give you their blueprint, or not their blueprint, but their fitting. But I think it's really important to understand why you are going to fit something a specific way. So looking at the caracal, I'm actually looking at the wrong area. My bad. So we would actually be going into ships, and then destroyers, cruisers, just kidding, and then caracal. Now there's a few different caracals. There is the caracal Navy issue, and then there's the caracal trainer. Come on. Okay, let's see if that one worked. Fingers crossed. Nope. Man, that's one thing I would say is when you guys are warping, sometimes things don't function as properly. Okay. There we go. Caracal. So you got your caracal Navy issue, caracal trainer. So let's look at the trainer. I just held, and that shows me 5% medium missile velocity. And let's look at the regular caracal. 5% plus a -3 missile activation time. And then let's look at the caracal Navy issue. So these are important to just factor in because they're going to have different advantageous kind of components to them. Relevant skills. So you'll want to skill up the relevant skills for your cruiser. And the way you find that is by, remember, I held and click. Held, clicked, and then it shows me the skills that you want to skill up. So you could put missiles on these all day long, but if you didn't skill up your missiles, you're going to have a bad time. So these show you your ship descriptions. And what I would do if I were you, from just off the top of my head, I would use so you don't want to use armor and shield. That's like an EVE thing that's known. You don't use armor and shield in modules. You use shield or armor. So, and again, I'm not as familiar with fittings, but just from what I've been taught from some of my military officers, is that you want to look at resistance a little bit. But really a caracal, I believe, would be better fit for shield. So we would fit like a shield hardener, a shield booster, and then maybe you'd use an afterburner to make it a bit faster. And what you would do for weapons is, I've been told by various vets, so I'm not 100% sure, but from what the vets I've talked to tell me, you don't want to have various weapons on your fitting. So what that means is you want to keep your weapons the same. You want to have the same small missile here and then small missile. You can do like the same a missile that's Tech 5 and Tech 7, but you don't want to have one missile and one railgun. Does that make sense? You just want to keep it all the same family of weapon. Because they don't work as well otherwise. So that's just a big piece of advice I would have from what all of my fitting guys have told me. Because I'm not as familiar with this, if you want to shoot me a message, I'll put in my Discord name on there. Reach out to me, and then I will have one of my guys who is more specialized in this give me a bit of better advice so that you can kind of be set up with your caracal. But yeah, really what I remember using was missiles, and then shield booster, and shield hardener, plus afterburner. So that's kind of how I fit mine. But feel free to shoot my Discord, and then whenever I'm free later, I'll be able to send off a suggested fitting. So now I'm just getting that inventory that I had here. Move to my Condor. And then I can do my encounter. It's 15 jumps away, so it's a bit far, but it is what it is. And then let me just make sure that I'm not going too fast, but that's Scordite. Yeah, okay. Okay. So then while we travel, kind of going a little bit back to determining what your margin would be for your venture. So just looking, I'm going to go back to the market. What I did is I grabbed the blueprint of a venture, a regular venture. Thanks. I'm in the Discord, but since I just unlocked it, figured I could hear it well here. Was thinking missiles and shields anyway. Yeah, that would definitely be a good fitting. And yeah, shoot me if you shoot me a picture of your fitting too as well, I can forward it over to Nomics. Nomics is going to be able to really give you some great advice in terms of any ship fittings. Okay. So industrial ships. Remember, we're just trying to discover the margin. So what's on the market right now? We see 930, 930,000 ISK that it's going to cost. Maybe I can even place this in the description as well below. So item, amount, and then ISK. Bam. Okay. So lustering alloy. Now I want to find lustering alloy because I'm just looking for all the materials that it's going to cost to build this to see if it makes sense that I should either buy the materials and make it myself, or if I should just pony up the dough and buy the venture that's been placed on the market. So minerals. We've already calculated titanium. And it looks like now even 21 jumps out. There's more that's at 1 ISK. I'm just going to keep it at 2 because I see that I only need 26,000 and this guy has 54,000 quantities. So that would be eliminating more places for me to travel just to get it in one location. So let's see, pyrite 4, and then there's pretty low quantities, but there is 1,900. So 4 seems to be the standard. So equals 4 times this. Oh, actually, I'm going to need 6,000 pyrite. I lied. So that would be about 25,000 ISK just to get that. Mexilon. This person's just selling it for 1 ISK. But I wonder, so this is another thing to factor in if you're going to travel to go get something. If you are getting an item that's in nullsec, people do put contracts up for really, like, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is, okay, guys? So if you're seeing something and it's, 40 jumps away, all the way in nullsec, and it's just like an item that's normally 500,000 ISK and they're selling it for 25,000, you might get jumped on your way out there. That might be a trap. So just be aware that that is a thing in EVE, and it's totally 100% legal in game. People are allowed to scam you, so just keep those things in mind. All right, I'm gonna notice we need about 2,000, so I'm just gonna overestimate and just say about 12 ISK. Now we're gonna look at our planetary materials. So far, just looking, it's going to cost me about 121,000 without any of my planetary reactions or planetary production. So we got our lustering alloy, 300. Oof, okay. So equals 300 times this. This is just building a spreadsheet. Excel really does help you kind of break down things and understand what's going to save you time in the long run. Okay, equals times, I need about 551 condensed alloy. So let's just say 340 because I see one below. And then toxic metals and base metals. So for base metals, I'm going to need about 146. So 365. And then toxic metals. Ooh, toxic metals, a little bit higher, a little bit more expensive. I'm going to need at least 137. So let's see, times 620. And then, last but not least, going to need that motley compound. And I'm going to need 551. So let's say 300. Oops. Okay, 300 times 551. Okay, so now I have just finished my spreadsheet, and now I'm going to make my sum. So I'm going to find the sum of all of the items that were listed in the blueprint. Oops. Equals the sum. And for some reason, I am blanking on my sum formula, which feels like such a basic formula. Kind of like a noob right now. Okay, so 750, I came up with 756,834 ISK. So let's see what that margin is then. And 756, 834. So I really would only be saving about 173,000 ISK. So if you guys think that are trainerships made by the game, you mean are they seeded onto the market, like through the game? I guess I need to understand that question a little bit more. Yeah, trainerships are seeded. But yeah, so in terms of just looking at that venture blueprint, for how much it cost on the market versus, and I added up all the materials. I basically built a spreadsheet on the side and looked, and I saw that it would cost me about 756,000 just to make one, plus factoring in that I don't have any of my manufacturing skills leveled up, and I'm still gonna have to buy modules, because then I'm also gonna have to get those mining lasers. So then keep in mind, let's go back to the market. And we are going to look at our high slots and look at not missile launchers. You don't need missile launchers. You need harvest equipment. So you look at some of these mining equipment modules. So you'll also need at least, I believe, 2 of these for your venture. So it's like factoring all of that cost in is going to help you make a more informed decision on whether you want to buy the ship or make the ship. And then especially just because you get a free venture, you might want to spend your money buying better mining lasers. It's only a mining yield of that 5% for that venture trainer. But if you then save up, you could always buy a venture. Like I personally think from the amount of margin I would make on that, I would just pretty much buy one. Okay. Oh boy, so we've been going a pretty long while here. All right. Well, I think this kind of gives a nice overview on our main, on some of the main general things that you need to know for gameplay. I'm probably going to be wrapping up here pretty soon, but before I head off, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know, and then I'll try to answer those a little bit before I launch off and take off. I'm going to have to do some offline gameplay and take a look at all that ISK that my corp is making and see what our dent is in our corporation mortgage. Encounters. And then let's look at this. So yeah, we'll still need to level up. Any more questions or anything that anybody has for Eve Echoes? Just kind of some general gameplay, general things to get familiar with. Really, main things would be just remember your skills and your modules and your ships. They all play a role together. So you're not going to do yourself a service by just randomly fitting ships and then flying out there. You're most likely going to lose it. So just considering all those factors, it's going to help you make those better decisions. going to different marketplaces. You know, the market has been considerably different when I was flying near Jeddah versus when I flew around to a few other areas. So regional orders. I'm not 100% the difference between the regional orders or sales is, but if you are looking as an alpha for nearby trading centers, you can also click here to the nearest by trading center and then press autopilot. You can track your deliveries here. If that is in the case that you buy inventory and you don't opt to choose it yourself or pick it up yourself, you can click that delivery section. And then you can always buy ship skins. You can actually also buy them you can pay for them, or you can buy them with in-game currency. That's something I would probably just pay for. But yeah, so that's kind of just a nice general introduction into Eve. Next time I do a little bit of streaming on this, we'll try to move forward and get that. Then once the tech level is increased, then I might be on again a little bit later and try to do another segment so you guys can see, just finishing these advanced tutorials. Again, if you're new, highly recommend the advanced tutorials. You get free ships, you get skill points back, you get these skill chips that give you skill points back to then use so that you can expedite your skills. And you would do that by pressing this guy right here. Oh my gosh. There we go. Expedite all. So expedite all. Bam. And then you'll notice now I've got a few left over. I think I will skill up in planetology for now, because that is a very good skill to have in terms of just collecting more items. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Talking in Stations and checking out that sneak peek of content. And we really appreciate everybody who's checking out the channel. We are currently running a campaign to help Captain Benzie. If you're not familiar with Captain Benzie, he's left tons of excellent tutorials and how-tos and guides on YouTube. He's been a dedicated content creator for the past few years, and he does everything on his phone. Now, Captain Benzie has been a guest on Talking in Stations, and the biggest thing is that because his internet connection is so low, it is a little bit difficult for him to be able to stay in as a guest. So we are running a campaign for 30 days, and any donations that are in the description, if you donate, that we will be spending 50% of those donations to help him try to get a better connection so he can continue being a guest on our show. Thank you so much, guys, and have a good one. Tune in for next time.